This is a public meeting, and the public cannot hear you.
Okay, we'll try to speak louder for you.
Or maybe microphones or something would help.
They're available.
Yeah, it's just a workshop tonight. We don't have microphones here.
It's a workshop with all...
So you're just going to mumble. we should leave then. Why is the public...
Kevin will get it for us. Yeah.
You want to hear, right?
Thank you. Okay. Next up is hard work. We'll start with Sean.
Sean Pearson.
Linda Jardins. Naomi Smith. Virginia Allen. Linda Theodore. Stephanie Walsh. Okay. So we're here tonight for the workshop to finish reviewing and discussing the proposed budget from 2026-2027 fiscal budget. And we finished off in general at our last meeting, and that's where we're picking up today. We're really just going through the budget page by page, line by line, and discussing where we think might be the adjustments. Okay. Okay, to go, yeah, just like we were last time.
Yeah, with the green.
Yeah, we can check you out, yeah. So we were in general, and I asked to increase IT, and he said not yet. We're going to increase and add vehicle GPS to 6,600. We're going to add new ponds for 3,000, provided that they speak to the board asking what they're going to use the 3,000 for. And I think we're discussing legal fees, and then we're going to keep it at 90, but if we need more, we would consider an appropriation, unless you guys wanted to open that discussion again.
I can answer the $3,000 for Moose Pond if you want. I spoke to Perry the other day, and what they're doing is they're doing the analysis on the weed control. After they've done the actual application, now they're having a company come out and do the analysis, see how it worked.
Wanted to hear from you.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from them.
Postage we can actually dramatically reduce. So I looked in our postage account, and we're going to be getting a $25,000 refund. They were just putting money in it every single month, and so when I looked at the statement, it just is excessive of what was to me in a postage account. So I recommend for this year only that we drop it to $10,000. But with a note saying next year it'll have to go back up. If they prepay postage, that's actually pretty customary, but the prepaid month was included. Yeah, that'll be fine. Well, we're getting $25.
You're getting $25,000 back. What's going to be left in that account?
Well, they used to put in 2,000. There's still actually 7,000 in the account.
There'll be $7,000 left in there.
Yeah,
Plus
for the
we're
remainder of
adding,
the year.
then we're going to add in 10.
Then we're going to add in that, so it'll be 25, it'll be the 10 plus 25 for next year, 35. Then we'll see where we're at, and if I have to keep over, I'll tell you guys anyway. But at least that'll bring down the cost. Anything else that you guys wanted to talk about in general?
Lisa, what's the computer?
The computer is the IT contract that we have, and as you can see historically, we've been spending over 100. So I was thinking that the budget should go up to accurately reflect what we've been doing. I know we have a new company coming in starting July 1st, but technology is continuing to grow, and we're constantly having changes. In addition, we talked about moving out, like putting all of IT, whether it's in one department, but in one area as well.
So is the computer hardware, or is that the IT part of the IT portion that goes smaller?
No, that would be everything, that's just IT, that's what we pay PTPs
It's everything.
That's not the line I'm
Because you
talking
got two
about.
line items, you got IT and then you got computer
I'm
down
talking
below.
about the computer.
On the postage, you got computer.
Right.
38.
Years
Yeah.
ago, that's how it was broken out. We can bring that to one line if you'd like. But really what it does talk about is talks about the IT contract we have.
So that goes into the IT contract.
Yeah, and then they suggest the items that we purchase. In other words, if we have 30 computers within the town hall and police and highway, we want to talk about every couple of years rotating purchase of new ones.
That's the hardware.
Hardware.
Yep.
And you're gonna move that up to IT for a total of 98?
That's up to you guys. You even need to keep it separate. Because wouldn't you rather see the contract and the hardware separate?
I think it makes more sense to leave it separate as hardware versus IT is just kind of like their labor, right? Their software.
But it's 60 grand a month.
You're talking about not only their contract for labor, but you're also talking about all the like OS 365 has the package you buy either every 2 or 3 years.
Right.
All those contracts, all those contracts.
Right now, we don't have it budgeted where we could put it here, so you guys could have a Plainfield CT.
Would that
Student
fall,
government.
would
That
that
would
fall under computers or would that fall under IT?
Probably IT.
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 Are you guys comfortable with that 60,000? Because that's the one,
Nope.
we're already at that half of the year.
Right, that's what I'm saying, I
Yeah.
wanted that to increase. We're decreasing other things, but if it's possible, I'd like to see IT line go up.
Do you know what project it is? Because
So
the
much
one
more
was
than
at 100K, did you?
Well, look at the actual even the prior year, that was 103.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
The year prior, and it was 110 a year before that.
everything is IT now, everything. All technology.
Because our last meeting, I wrote down proposed 100K question mark.
Right,
So
I
that was
did.
your number that you
It was.
But is that going to be for the IT contract we're currently with, or are you looking for a new one?
That would definitely be with the new one. No, right?
Notice Insight.
Is that out for RFP right now?
The problem with finding a company that will service this large of a facility, the town in general, is there's very few companies that do that. So I started a couple of years ago trying to find somebody. Notice Insight was the only other company that I could find. They're the ones that were able to meet all the needs that we were looking for. Matter of fact, I do have a meeting with them tomorrow to talk about trying to take over what we're doing now early. Because, as we're trying to have a staff member on site from BTP, that group had a person who left, and they have not been able to find anybody else. So we have nobody on site to help us as we speak.
They're breached their contract, basically, before you tell them.
However, you try getting out of that contract, there's a problem. There's an early out clause in there, so you can't.
But if they're not providing the support that we require,
That's why we're trying to talk to them. We'll talk to them probably early next week about doing a early transition out.
We talked last week about combining or utilizing some of the IT services from the Department of Ed. Is that something that we can think about?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear. It was a board that.
That was something someone suggested as to look into potentially.
Yeah.
We tried that a couple of years ago. They came in and they did an overview of what we're doing. The two things that were an issue were, one, they don't have enough staff, and two, they have to hire too many people to be on staff in order to make it worthwhile for them to be able to come in and service us, but it would be too cost prohibitive. The board of Ed?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm sure they still have the same group.
aren't they reducing the staff this year in their budget?
I don't know what they're doing in their budget.
I think there are some numbers down.
And they're dropping an IT person in their budget.
So let me make sure I'm clear on this. We have a company that we have a contract with that's not supplying a staff member to do the job that we contracted with them. But we can't opt out or get out of the contract and they have no penalty for not providing the work that they,
I didn't say that last part,
okay.
okay?
So-
I'm working with them to try to find a way to get around this and have a reduction in the cost to the town of Plainfield.
Okay, that sounds better, thank you.
So let me ask this question then, if the department, the Board of Ed or the school department is reducing one IT person, why can't we scoop that person up?
You're not looking for an individual to come in, you're looking for a company which can do multifacets of your support.
So the IT person,
Well, again, the new company we have does have someone who should be able to come in to start now. That's why I'm having a meeting with them tomorrow.
In the past, we've had a single IT person that kind of limited our ability to advance and grow, because their scope, their knowledge is very,
Well, I'm not comfortable
Very-
increasing this budget until we know what's gonna happen with either the current company or if we've got to go with a new company. Because we don't even know when the new company is gonna charge us, correct?
We have an idea.
I mean, overall, we knew where the budget stands, where this is beginning. These workshops are for us to have these communications and to go through it, so. Should we continue moving on, or do you guys have anything else?
I'm not comfortable with $98,000 and we don't really know.
We know we spent more than that historically year budget.
Yeah, I get that, Lisa, I do, but we don't know what this new company is gonna come in looking like, and I would hope that they can come in guns blazing and wanting to get make this sale and bring somebody on board for us. I just think we should wait to see what they come back with.
I don't think you can, I think you gotta have another budget to start off with, because we gotta put this budget forward. So you have to have something in there.
Plus, if we keep on track with the actuals, we're gonna be over 120,000, that's just not.
Well, no, that's not true.
Well, it looks like it could be.
What you're looking at,
You're talking about,
you're looking
right?
at, if you look at 24, 25, it was 149, and then 46, so that's 100, a little over 150.
Oh, no, you're closer.
You said 200, right?
No, I
So, I
said
mean, if we move that other line to 100 and keep it at 38, or 138,
Right.
if we're getting 14 grand back before switch to.
So we can move on.
So if we want to, if we're feeling, we want to keep it at the 61,000 or 60,000 that it's currently at, or if we feel.
I think we're gonna be low there, but I think it's all that is a whole, we have to line item transfer, they have to line item transfer in the end. From someplace else to make that budget work.
So would you think to leave it or put it at 100?
I have no idea, because I have no idea what the contracts are looking at.
That's
So
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
we have to have something there.
Yeah.
We got to understand that we're gonna be line item transfer, or we're gonna over budget in that line, and we're gonna be looking for,
Then if we're gonna do that, Sean, take 38 from computer and add it to 60. And then that's the total for now, how's that?
well, that's kind of what you're doing already.
Right, so let's
Just leaving them.
Yeah.
You're basically leaving it, and
Let's just do that.
you're combining those two line items.
Because
We
without
can make the
numbers,
decision
it's
when we have
just-
contracts.
So you want hardware and software combined in one line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Separated.
no, separating out is better.
Separated, yeah. I think we want separate. So keep it as is.
Yeah.
It really ends up being just a placeholder.
You could add information to give it more detail, like on the computer line down below. You could say this is for your hardware purchases. Those are the ones you're gonna rotate every couple of years to purchase
Yeah.
new.
What do you guys think about that? Should we define computer better as hardware?
Yeah.
I added computer hardware.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we good with the rest of general?
What's the contingency, please?
That's typically you can hold up to 2%, and that is for anything that's not budgeted that comes up
Or shortfall?
for shortfall. to use for transfer.
So if you're short in IT, you can pull something contingent vote. If they decide to, that's ultimately, I believe, what the selectmen have
Yeah.
for contingent.
Yeah. That's what it was.
The fireworks.
Right now it's listed at 15,000. I had a plan that was supposed to be to go to drones. I don't think we're going to be able to make that plan, but I would like to still have the 15,000 for fireworks. This is our 250th, so I thought something would be
It's
appropriate.
15,
15,000 is the actual numbers they're looking at right now. I do have a couple companies that I've talked to you about that would like to donate towards it as well, so that would make it so it would be a little better of a show.
so the town portion will be 15.
15.
And then you're gonna take any additionals that you can muster up from local support
Yep,
to make the show bigger.
right.
I just had a question on it. So so far this year, we're already over the budget that we made for next year.
This is as of 12/31, that budget is incorrect. We already received the refund check, and actually, I think we mentioned this the last meeting. It went down to like, if we reduced it, so that 7841 comes straight from the probate office. They send a memo every year. So next year's budget is actual from them. Yeah, that's 100% from them.
US flag is bad enough there. That's the stuff, those are the ones from along the street on the poles?
Yeah, those are the ones.
Or is that the ones for the
No,
cemetery?
those are the ones on the street.
And you didn't buy any this year?
Mostly what we're doing is replacing the ones that are broken or ripped.
Okay. Ready? All right. So we're at the highway DPW. The major increase in the highway DPW is adding one full-time person, particularly when it came to snow this year, we were destroyed. Somewhere else, there is a savings. We had the double uniforms this year as well in that department, so you see the savings there, and then the one full-time person.
I'm actually going to object to a 4% increase for the supervisor.
That's contractual.
It's contractual at
Yes,
4?
it is.
Yeah, that's his contractual, this is for,
Negotiated in the contract.
that's union.
I thought it was 3.
Not all, there's all different contracts. He's got a 4%.
To add one full-time person,
Correct.
and then we need that truck. Lisa, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm the mechanic for the police department. The raises for, this is for the new mechanic or a current mechanic? Isn't our, one of them was retiring, I heard.
Yeah, he's already got it, retired. That was this year.
So does he work on contract, Lisa?
What's that?
Does this, do the mechanic work on contract?
Yeah, they have the union contract through the highway department, even though they work in the police department, it's part of the highway
Yes.
department.
Now, he's not a new employee to the town, correct? He just transferred from the
Right.
department?
Transfer.
So he transferred from the
Highway.
highway garage to the police department.
But he's still in the same union, just different job title.
And then salary line for the temporal contract, that's included in the full term plus their
Sure.
Are they at 4% as well?
Well, the highway.
Not, I can get you the contract, I mean, it's online as well if you want to see it. But, it was the supervisor, because he's a working supervisor, he gets the 4%. The other ones are all at 3.
You know what portion of that is the increase for the one full-time?
Down at the bottom, 87 on the top.
No, really? That can't be. total.
Ten people.
That's total. That's regular, isn't it?
For 87,000. Oh, no, you're looking at the original one? This is when we did the, modified, I did the condensed version, so I put those down on the bottom. Highway 186. Oh yeah, that's the total increase 87, yeah, you're right, the total increase 87.
That one person, for new person, so.
Well, it's actually 10 people, so there you go, you got 699.90, 10 people, you're 70. 699.
All the highway workers make the same wage.
Everyone's a little different though, because you have different job classifications. So their hourly rate is based on the job classification. It's also listed in the contract at the back 2 pages.
We're just gonna add the attendance kind of code here. We're adding the attendance kind of code here.
Now, Ron asked me, where should you put small equipment? Like, you had to get a new leaf-blower backpack, and there's no small equipment line, and that's usually customary in a highway department. Is that something you guys wanted to add?
Where do you have it now? Where is
So
it?
that's what I asked him, he goes, I think it's loaded supplies, we didn't even know. So, did you want to see small equipment?
I don't want to give him more money for small equipment. If he throws it into supplies and expenses,
That's where it is, supplies and expenses.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
Well, it would just get divided out. If you-
Yeah,
if
it'd be
you
a
get
different line.
Yeah.
Supplies and expenses
but I don't want to give him
reduced.
additional money.
Right, you just have to split that up.
Did he have any idea how much he wanted in that line versus the supply line?
No, he just suggested it'd be nice to see it separate.
Can we get
I would like to separate those two
I mean, I
lines.
can make that small quick for $5,000 and then supplies reduced by 5, is that what you want?
Yes.
And remember, near math, we're gonna put all in one department now too. Okay, you done with highway?
I have a question, but it's not in this part of the budget, I think it's in the capital. The radios.
Okay. You
State
want-
radios, so that we
The
match
state
up.
radios?
Yep.
What's the necessity of a radio in the truck if everybody's got cell phones?
Okay, so the state radios are used for between the emergency services, between police, and also for fire departments when there's an issue that goes off.
Correct.
And so it's the same frequency, instead of chasing around trying to find the frequency, if you can get it somewhere in town.
Right, but you're talking the highway guys. Yep. Are they monitoring the state radios, or would they be?
They would be able to with this. So that's why they're looking for the purchase, to get everybody on the same frequency.
I don't know, I'm questioning if it's needed, if you're giving them all, they've all got cell phones, companies, towns.
Again, you're looking to have communication back and forth on one system, a radio system, not going back and forth between your phone to other people's phones when they're on a radio already. Yeah.
Please, that's one action.
Oh, I'm aware, but I know that they also, send it out, they all have cell phones, and, I know that the fire departments also receive pages and messages through their cell phones when there's issues, so I don't know if it's a dual expense is necessary, that's why I'm just questioning.
It was a request that came in 2 years ago. We didn't put it in last year. We held off, and we'd like to do it now.
Unless you do have any workshops, we can have. So we can set the phone again.
No, I just wanted to bring it up that
They have cell phones.
they have cell phones, our radios.
Where's the event going to be? We said that we were gonna put it on the plan. We're eliminating the engineering and everything and putting it all in there now, it's been on the plan. I think the
HR,
original said assessors, but then you have to find it now. Just one place. Human resources, this is a new department, and then in talking with, right now, the like recruitment and advertising, we never advertise or pay for advertising, like Indeed to get people. And so that's nowhere in the budget, so I don't know if you want to add recruiting and advertising somewhere.
The conference training, what's that?
Any conference training that she needs to go to, and that could be car training,
Okay.
insurance.
My question is, why are we paying that if she's a subcontractor?
It should be in the contract.
Is that,
It should be in the contract.
is it?
I believe it is.
Because typically, if you hire a subcontractor, the contractor is responsible for keeping all the training up to date. That's my question.
Should she not have a conference training, or is that what it's called?
I'll check the contract.
So otherwise, this next one, we just put basic numbers in there, computer supplies.
No, that's fine, I'm just curious about that one thing. If you were telling me that she was gonna do conferences and training here, that she was hosting, that'd be a different story, you know, with our staff. But if it's for her to go get recertifications or trainings that she needs, that should be done, in my opinion, by the company we pay. That's why we pay.
I would suggest that, any kind of advertising should be deducted from her supplies and expense line.
I would like to track it though. I would like to see how much we're paying in recruitment costs for drug tests and everything else. So I think there's a recruitment and advertising cost, even if we use the 1,400 of the conference training, you know, just to bring up, let's start looking at it, because we've never had HR before. We don't have the history to follow,
Right.
see what they're.
But some of that expenses should have already been done, should be there. Drug testing should have always should have been done in the past. So where was that going before?
Oh, so it's individual departments.
So now basically what we've done is we've taken those expenses out of the departments, left the money over there because they're still spending the same amount, their
Yes, I
expenses.
mean, we're talking like $60.
No,
And
Still,
so if we can not have turnover, that would be even better, but I wanted to try to highlight it,
No.
it will show turnover.
I understand that over here.
And that's the only time that we have drug tests, is when they're hired.
If we hire an addition, there's also testing for the DOT for the
Requirement every year, couple of years, you have to get the two testing.
The random drug
Random
testing.
drug-
That's our
truck
core.
drivers.
Yep.
So that would fall into that.
That's the highway. So that
Now
would
we're
be different,
saying
that would
that's-
say highway, that would stay in highway, this would be for hiring,
Because the police,
that would be in the budget.
Would HR make sure that all that's done? That the truck drivers are maintaining that stuff? Would that be
They're
under
required
HR?
to keep it in the files.
Right, but that's kept in the HR department's files.
Where's the HR office? Is that what?
It's across from where the district is at, like that.
Okay, but if we have, well, let me go back. So we're gonna have 11 full-time highway employees,
Yeah.
and they have to be routinely drug tested for DOT.
Randomly. Randomly.
Okay. That's gonna stay in the highway department salary?
Yeah, because
Highway
that's not,
department's budget?
because that's part of maintaining, that's not recruitment.
Will they reimburse that back to the human resource department?
No, because it's always been there.
Okay.
It's early. This is new, this is for like hiring someone new from the outside. So to get this 11 person, we would have to, if we advertise on Indeed, that would be there, and that initial drug testing would go there. But the DOT requirements, I
So are
would
you looking to
highlight.
track the cost of new recruits and employees? Is that what
Exactly.
you're looking for? Okay.
Exactly.
All right, understood.
Because if you see that spike, then you look for trend on why it's reducing. So is it okay to add recruitment and advertising?
How much are you looking at, Lisa?
Or do you want to take on training out? I mean, I'm talking put nominal in, just to have something for line items, so we start tracking 500 each.
We would take some out of conference, some out of supplies, add it into.
I would like to reduce supplies, but that's not a lot.
My question though is if
I'm
you
good
take
with constant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll take it out of conference and training, is that okay with you, Kevin? And then I'll split it up, that 1,400, and I'll just do 707 or something like that, I'll make it equal to 1,400. So we'll eliminate conference training and we'll add recruitment and advertising. Okay, that works. Thank you. Insurance,
You tell me. How did you get it to go down so much?
workers' comp trend is, workers' comp is based upon your actual.
Yeah.
So your historical trends, and then we've been working a lot more on commerce, especially Virginia. We go through quarterly reports and monthly reports with the current agents, and she started new forms and actively filing them out. So we're trying to be proactive versus reactive, so we go through all the things. And because we're actually spending the time with the insurance company, they're using it. I can tell you, when we did this in January, I had a placeholder of 10% for general insurance. If we can drop it to 5, we got a 5%. I got their actual renewal. That's why when I asked for things, I'm like,
So your experience rating has gone down then for
Correct.
comp. Okay.
Yep. Medical, I'm gonna leave at 12. That could be the only thing. That might go up if we have more people enrolled, because we are gonna change the state plan. We're gonna be rolling that out soon. We have signed on with them. We'll no longer be a self-insured for both medical, dental, and vision, and it's a much better plan for all the employees, no longer high deductible, and it's more about being proactive versus reactive and investing in our employees. So I don't know, maybe we put some of the money I took down in general to add it to medical as like a safeguard, but yet we also have teachers that would be coming up. Right, or it might be 1 more year out. So we've got those thresholds where we have down to 16.5%, then it goes to 8% in October, and we've got to break it up after that. And then August of 2027 is when.
So are you expecting more people to take the medical insurance?
I absolutely do. Because it's a much better plan.
So whether we change the numbers or not, the allocation of the insurance is still.
Yeah, I mean,
Changing column.
pretty much, I guess. For 12, I mean, maybe this increases by 10,000 just to allow some additional people to sign up. If we're dropping, 12, 12.5, 12.6.
Okay, so that's what you're gonna do, yeah. Sounds good to me.
Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah.
I'll add 10,000 there, and I'll drop the other one by.
Nationally, we're trending, all insurances are trending. at least
All insurance is
10 to
trending.
12. Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah.
high.
You say drop by 12, Lisa.
You drop general insurance to 5% versus 10, and then I'm gonna take this medical insurance at 169, and I'm gonna add 10K to it.
Okay.
It's still a savings.
Yeah. Talk about that, the library.
All right, so library,
This library.
we good with the library? Got another conversation about the library.
Just like, if I remember correctly, we're required to give them that 10% increase every year.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah,
It
okay.
hasn't been every year.
It's not required.
It's not a requirement.
Why would we require?
I don't know, but the people was said
They
last
just,
week.
what we give them to help keep them going. We give them because we have to have a library for state staff.
We don't have to give 10% increase every year.
No.
Oh,
You've been very tight, frugal over the past few years, which is why they've asked for a little larger increase this year.
does that line, Kevin, do you know if that line includes the salary for the librarian?
It's whatever they want. It's not our entity.
We don't, okay.
It's not our employee.
Okay.
It's not our employee, it's not our entity, and they handle it. Okay, planning, this obviously is gonna change because we're adding near math, editing, all of engineering, that kind of stuff. But, so what we have here is pretty straightforward, unless you guys have any questions on the engineering, keeping our planning. Savings of 8270, the affordable housing plan, we need 15,000. Like we had last year, because we didn't know how that house built was back up.
Well, I'm not going to say this is where the shifts and things like that.
Well, yeah, but if we're just taking from one fund to the other. It's still accounted for in our overall budget.
we just have to run, like, we can start asking questions, the reason that was going on is because we're shifting all the near mapping into one department instead of having it spread out across everywhere. We have more of a handle on it.
Yeah, that really makes sense. Have them all in one spot. So you do what you cost, exactly.
How come the actual is so low right now compared to what was budgeted?
Depends on when you
Supplies
actually
and
for costs
expenses.
and whatever it is. I'd have to take a look at, what we do in a month different forecast. I think he was lower anyway, even year to date. If I remember, forecast was having a lot lower.
He's been trending low, he's been asking for 16, he was 93. On that third, he's going 425. But I know that all the, is the planning and zoning training all come out of that also, the boards?
No, you're talking about boards and commissions?
Correct.
No.
It's not in here, it's not under this training and planning? Okay.
There's a whole section just for that.
Well, I think perhaps the 25 might be a little bit high compared to what he's been spending.
Yeah, do look back at previous years. Is there any reason you have to do more training?
Is there
I think he
something?
was having, KG training too.
Well, she's been training quite a bit last couple of years.
Correct. There's different levels of certification, so she has more to do.
Talking $700.
I know. There's $700 and that's $700 and all adds up pretty quick. Especially when you look at historically, he's been putting in for it and he's not using it.
Kevin, I just wanted to get the zoning officer more knowledge.
Depends on when the training is offered too.
Yeah,
Well, I'm looking at 24, 25, he put it to $1,600, he used $930. And then you look at, you look at the able for, he used 800. His membership's also the same thing. You look at that, he's an owner on that.
such small numbers, I'd rather, so we have to come back to it, but if it's slowly down, I'd rather close it back.
But it's budgeting, you're supposed to get closer to what you're spending, not off.
So we just go back to what it was last year. So you want to bring the 2,500 down to 18?
Unless he had justification for it to go up, which you guys would know that, we didn't get that.
Do you want to change that 2,500 to 1,800?
I think he should be staying where he's at. If he's not using all of it, there's no reason to do the increases. Unless he's justified to you and Kevin that this is why he increased.
He's going to, we told you and that he was, that's fine.
That handles that, but what about the, memberships?
$200?
Yeah.
I could just be simple and do the name of it.
But you look at last, look at 23, 24, he used, membership, $900, he used $500 of it. 24, 25, $900, he's $477 of it. I mean, he's increased his memberships every year, but he's not using it.
So far this year, we're at that, almost be something.
What, memberships? $275,
$275.
and he put in for 1,000.
You dropped it back to 1,000.
Do you want to drop that back to 1,000?
We're supposed to be tightening our budgets up, not making them bigger.
I'd say the same thing for supplies and expense.
Supplies and expenses gonna be, I don't know, forget it. Where's the?
The $311.
We also, last year, they also, they do this thing with the engineering department too. So they had whole second line there.
Would it be fair to say, seeing how there's so many changes with his department, with engineering leaving, and then the mapping, near mapping, all going, why don't we just track his for this year? And see where he's at the end of the year, and then we'll have a better, clearer picture next year. I think that's fair.
That's fair.
Instead of nitpicking all of this, that's just my thought process. Because everything's gonna be changing, showing with the near mapping, and then engineering leaving, and
Yeah, but when the engineering came in, his numbers didn't really change. When we had the engineering department last year, his numbers really didn't change, it kind of stayed the same. That was my big long intention of that. I'm just bringing up what I'm seeing.
I would offer up at least $500 off of that 3,500, knock it down to 3,000. Because he hasn't spent much this year already.
that was he's at $311.
I know.
And he's got a $3,500 budget for next year.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
No.
The only problem is we don't know what
Where
they really
where the
is
estimate,
gonna.
what
My
line?
biggest concern is if somebody's sitting there that they've got, I know who the teachers work. I'm not gonna say he's a government employee too. If he's sitting there, he's looking at his budget, he's saying, I got all this money, and runs out at the end of the year and starts buying stuff, just because he's got all this money, that's my problem.
Well, then how about this? How about if you want to
So take-
find $1,000 and I'll give him a line item to take it out, or whatever, give me a dollar amount, and I'll go back to him as department head and let him determine. That's the exact number I
take it
have
right
right
now.
now. So,
Alright, cut it down.
so I'll have Ryan reduce to 5,000 and I'll let him take the line. Sound good?
Yeah.
Police? He had his own presentation, I don't think he did discuss that today, correct? First.
Sean,
Well, look at his refuse and disposal.
He explained that when he was here.
yeah.
He told us what the fee was for them to come out, Simone and Plainfield, week, whatever it was.
Yeah, they have funny buildings,
And then
like,
He's got 2,200 in there, he's only used $780 of it so far. And what else is free?
Just to clarify, take a look at the date of the actuals.
Yeah, that's
right.
Okay. Halfway through?
Yeah,
Yeah, those are all done.
So now,
double that.
double that. What is that, $1,500? He's got 21 there.
previous year actual use was about 1,500.
Yep, the year before that was 13.
Yeah.
So,
But he already knows there's an increase. That's what I recall him saying when he was here. He did say that as an
I'm sure there's going to be an increase, there's always going to be an increase, but he's increasing it the last couple of years and he's not spending it. He hasn't.
Lisa, would that be where his,
We're supposed to be getting tighter on our budget.
Lisa, would that be where his, maintenance person comes in?
No,
No, it's just garbage.
It's wherever your contract was.
It should dump stuff. That should be easy to figure out. Your dumps are going to get empty every week. It's going to be this much.
He said, it just says there's no, because it's actually, he's just doing the same as he did last year. There's no increase on that line. He's just keeping it the same. But so far, or well, in the current year, we're in, 2,200. But so far for the year, he's only used 780 of that 2,200. But he's not asking for an increase. 2 years, like for last year when we were doing the budget, he had increased it by $200. I don't know, yeah, I don't know what the rest of the board feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
the
we can
laws?
see how at the end.
Yeah, we said that again, and then it changes. Comes back to that's the thing. And, you know, we're going, well, at least we're going line by line, this is nice.
Yeah, I think we should do workshops earlier.
We need the budget.
Yeah, but I started in
Yeah.
December, meet with departments, January, that's what we're talking about. Well, so that we're, yeah, and it just makes more sense, and then everyone's more comfortable with everything. Okay, so purchase services, the Department of Health, that's actually the contract, NECOG, Council of Government, the main one, as we already discussed, was the American Legion, and we have the 3 tiers that you guys are going to represent staff to the Board of Selectmen, but it's Board of Selectmen that actually needs the contract. All right, we have 150, 100 days, 30K for an audit, 10K for financials, and 10K for board representation. And 1K for March 1st.
I'm really not really sure that's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't like the Legion.
Well, I don't say that. I don't.
Well, yeah, I mean, we
But
have
for
a
just-
number for
For
anybody.
just
that-
this year, I think they need to show us an audit. They want 250,000, and they said they didn't budget an audit because it was too much money and they didn't have it. They weren't gonna,
At this time, I'm just being honest, there's absolutely no way they're gonna be able to have an audit time.
no, not for this year, but I don't see signing a 3-year contract.
Well, I'm not going to do that.
So,
I just want you to know that I'm not going to sign a contract for 3
I
years.
thought we were clear last week what our proposal was, so.
Yeah.
Barry Kevin's here too, so he
Yeah,
can be
exactly.
brought up to date.
Right, because it's a request that the Board of Finance is going to make to the Board of Selectmen, this is the Board of Selectmen contract. We're putting the placeholder in for 150, for it's a 1-year contract at most, 100 grand base, and then after March 1st, if they provided the subject and available to ask for the following 50, broken by 30K for an audit, 10,000 for financials, and 10,000 for representation.
Have that right for this, would be helpful.
Because part of our.
I think this is a 1-year gap just to get us through this 1 year.
We were.
And put an RFP out for the following.
Right, so what the mindset, Kevin, was to do it for 1 year. That way the money is also provided for an audit if they should need it. Because the concern is if we love RFP and burn bridges here, we have to have someone for this year. We're aware of that. So what if we burn bridges and then RFP comes back, it's another company that's $400,000? That's not necessarily being handled that well, in my opinion, if we could have gotten them for this amount for right now. So I just think to start out with and hold for the year, the 100, and then that's, the 50 is contingent on other
things.
Other
And then do
things.
an RFP and then evaluate where we want to be.
Right, so that's
This way
what's
we're
on
not
next year.
That's where we're headed.
Right.
And just so you know, an RFP for the future also would be, requirement would be to have ambulances in town. So we're not going to be waiting for someone to come from out of town.
Okay.
Yeah, another town recently did it, so I know.
So, are you comfortable presenting that to your board?
Sure.
That goes.
Just going to give me something documented so I can share it with you.
We'll give you-
Yeah.
So we're gonna take this 250 right out, right, Lisa? This is
Yeah,
going out.
we're gonna put 150 in there.
Okay.
Yeah, we already had that change from the last meeting.
So I'm gonna ask Kevin this, talk to me about Meals on Wheels. I always get confused about this whole thing.
We changed it to 2 fresh meals a week. I think we discussed it when we were.
What your line item here is like everything else in the budget. You always have the old information on there where that says TVCCA Meals on Wheels. That's what we currently do. We're looking to contract with a different company, and they'll provide fresh meals twice a week, twice the size of what is currently being delivered as frozen.
Yeah, I would
Country comfort,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So we're good, so we're good.
Where should I rename that line item to then? I don't want to call it the company name.
Senior meals?
Yeah, senior meals.
Yeah. That's good.
I like that. All right, so moving on to recreation and senior. I know Red Rose used to be a hot topic, so that's nice enough to come in tonight. We have specific
Should we
questions.
invite her over to the table?
That's your table, that.
Come on over.
So I know one thing that was asked about was the Little League contracts, like what do they have and not have? This one is Deb's.
Well,
Talk about it.
you know,
We can all share.
I'd be careful on that, though.
Yeah.
That one's all contaminated.
Sorry, what was the question?
They asked what the Little League contract was, and I didn't have it.
So unfortunately, I'm not had time to speak. I'm working on OSHA finalizations for our stuff to look over it in depth again. When I first came on, I was able to dig through files from my predecessor, found it in files. But it's from 2010, I believe, when Plainfield Little League came into town ownership.
Who's that contract that's good?
Hey, Scott,
Yep,
you remember that one, right?
yep.
Little League in the town, I believe.
Yes.
It was a deal that me and Paul Sweet did. The town took over the property so they would continue to do all the work down at the fields, supplies porta potties. That was mainly it. It was the maintenance of the fields, porta potties, things like that.
Can I ask,
And we would pay $1 a year, and, because it's the only way that the town would continue to support the Plainfield Little League.
and two questions, because I wasn't here then, obviously. Was that before the restrooms were built on both of the Little Leagues?
Correct.
Okay. And then the second, I have a second question, hold on. That was just for Plainfield Little League?
Just for the Plainfield Little League down there. 'Cause
So that did
the
not
town already
involve
owned, the town already owned Moose's property.
Right, so
That's
that
all I
contract
was-
doesn't apply to that, though, it's only to that,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Okay, that was my understanding.
Yep.
So as of right now, I've talked with Chris Nagatier, who's the new president, and Plainfield and Moosup are now one entity, so they, a really big portion of it. So Chris and I have had conversations. We are going to try without the porta potties this year, because now that the restrooms are there, they're going to try utilizing just those and see how that goes. So we are dropping that from our line budget to see how that works this year. The main reason we supplied it last year was it was my understanding that that's what we were supposed to be doing for the contract. And also that those were being placed on the furthest levels of the field, like the furthest ones out, so that if there were elderly or disabled or people that had trouble getting quickly to a bathroom, it would be provided for use there. But again, that contract was in before either of the locations had restrooms, like facilities over there. So in talking with Chris, he said, you know, we already decided we're going to try without them this year, see how it goes, and then we can rebroach that conversation after.
So this brings up a question. Who's responsible for the restrooms? Who's maintaining, who's repairing?
Because in Moosup I can speak for, in Moosup, anything like that, they've been responsible for maintaining, for stocking, cleaning, any of that. That's who is supposed to be maintaining those. Because the building that is in Moosup was done by Lions, I believe.
Correct.
Was a donation from the Lions directly to Little League. So what we've been doing with Chris McAtee and myself, and previously with Greg, is starting to kind of get into a situation where I'm looking at more of, we own the land portion of it, so we're helping with, you know, making sure the fields, if they need repair, are getting repaired. Our guys from the town will mow once a week and do the infield cutting machines to make sure that the grass is separated from that. But Little League has been taking care of making sure the fields are lined, taking care of their outbuildings, their scoreboards, things like that fall under that. So that's kind of what's been currently in existence.
And clay?
And the clay has also been in the past a kind of give or take, from my understanding, previous to me. I can't speak for that for sure. What we did this year is Chris and I kind of looked at the needs on the field. Multiple fields have multiple problems, and part of that is washout. So this year there were 2 fields needed, so 2 dump trucks at Plainfield, 2 dump trucks at Moosup. We met in the middle and we each paid for 2. So it was 50-50 partnership on that to make sure we got what we needed. Moving forward, one of the things in my budget is trying to tackle the field issues one at a time. Like, I know we don't have the money to tackle the 3 fields that are the 3 issues. So working on making a correction to the field so we're not needing dump trucks every single year to restock what's been washed out. So I'm not about band-aiding problems if we can avoid it. I'm about fixing them so we save money in the long term, and then it's maintenance, not, you know, constantly making these repairs.
And buildings, physical buildings, like if you're going to go up to the Little League, up to the press box area, who's going to help to maintain fixing the staircase going up there or the press box and stuff?
So those are things that we're still in conversation with, because again, those things have typically, from my understanding, fallen historically to Little. They have been the ones that have been fundraising and taking volunteers that. I know they're struggling because even with their fundraising, they're just not getting volunteers. Before they used to have a league of volunteers, and like most places, the volunteerism is drying up, so they're having difficulty getting those volunteers in to either help or to fundraise for the funds to correct those issues. So I'm in a weird situation where I can't fix anything from prior to me, so I'm trying to work together as a community with our community partners to bring back our parks, our fields, whatever it may be, back up to what they should be for compliance. And then like working through, okay, now from this on, you're going to handle this, I'll handle this, we'll help with this together. You know, try to get to that point. Right now, honestly, if you visited the field, there are way worse fields out there for sure, but it's not looking great. Like if you go to any of our little league fields compared to the surrounding towns, they have been let go. And that's been a dual effort. It's not just the little league who's let it go. You know, again, like just walking in my farm, I've seen what hasn't been happening on the right side too. So working to try and get back to that direction.
So the whole rec department is saving $2,800 compared to last year, so you got to consider
In the future, not for this budget, obviously we can't do it tonight, I'd like to know a little more of a breakdown of what you're spending there.
But right now, the only thing I've spent there out of my budget has been for the dirt.
That's
in the previous 2 years.
That's that, but you have, well, didn't we just put, pipes along the top of the fence?
No.
Along the top?
Yeah, that was previous years.
A couple years ago?
Yeah.
We put the roofs on the buildings a couple years ago?
That was just the concession stand area.
That was all part of the reason.
Right, so I mean, we've been putting a lot of money for these buildings and this property, which we've never historically done in the past. It's just within the last 5 years, we've been putting a lot of money into this property that, they make money on. The Little League, they charge these kids to play. And where's all that going? Is it not going into any of their property or upkeep? Or is it completely gone? Are they spending it completely? We don't know that.
Right, and I can't explain that for them. I'm sure if you ask Chris, he can give you that breakdown. I know some of it goes back into buying their uniforms and things of that nature. So some of that is going back.
Well, I know in the past, in the past, I remember people I knew that were involved, that they were doing the work. They weren't taking care of the fields. They weren't having town guys to do that unless they needed a little help with equipment because they didn't have it.
Mostly right now it's the mowing, trimming, maintaining the fields, like you said, clay. I'm gonna have a meeting with Chris McAteer this Saturday anyway, so I'll ask some of these questions.
It's just, we're doing a lot for the Little League. What do we do for the soccer club? What do we do for the football?
Well, the difference there is we don't own the property for any of those. So that's the argument I make is we own the ground. I want to take care of the ground. I want to make sure the fields are set. We're not having safety issues for our kids who are playing. I want to make sure that they're taken care of because again, once you get them back to where they should be, that's maintenance. It's not then trying to just constantly catch up and fix the problem.
But they got help too.
I agree.
There's got to be a little bit of
it's a
give.
gift, absolutely. And Chris and I are working
I
toward
mean,
that.
we sat here and listened to the facilities people telling us how they spend a lot of time with it. Pick up garbage. The team should be responsible for that
Correct.
too.
And that's something that, like I said, Chris and I are developing this. We have conversations off and on, and we're having more as we go, because I'm trying to get a partnership built, right? So that they're responsible for these things and we have these things.
Because the more time that they're picking up garbage, it's less time they have to do all the stuff that they need to do.
This is all a work in progress. We're still working on it right now. I would say if you have questions about historical, what's happened in the past, the gentleman in the back there is definitely someone to talk to after the meeting.
So I can tell you one thing too, Sean, you can ask them for it because they have to do it. They have to file tax returns. They have to have income and expense statements. And that's open to that should be open to the public. So they allow their profit and loss statement for you. I do it every single year. I did it for 16 years. And then you have to turn it into Little League Baseball, you have to turn it into the IRS. You have to file a tax return. So the numbers have got to be there. You can see it plain as day where they're spending their money.
So, Scott, you and Paul had an agreement, or did the contract in 2010? Am I understanding that?
Correct.
So, it seems like, Kevin, you need to get with whoever's in charge, sit down and work out all the details, and come up with a contract that's more current.
Well, you're careful with the word contract. The idea would be an agreement. What happened before she came in, the previous rec director tried sitting down with a pay-per-play program that did not go over well at all. And so we're trying to mend that fence and work together. So I agree, we can sit down and talk about what we can do as an agreement to go forward. So,
Because I mean, it just seems fair to me that if we're asking our ambulance that's providing an emergency service to our residents to provide an audit, the least we can do is say, okay, what are your tax returns? What is Little League making? And how do we have a fair agreement and arrangement that the children win and everyone in town wins? This seems like it's a leadership issue that needs to, you sit down and work out a deal and then come to us. It's really,
well, there's other things that go with it. I don't want to delay this because we do have other
right,
things to get
that's
to,
what I'm
but
saying, it's outside of our scope.
when, Scott, when you were in before, how many kids used to be in the program?
Just on the Plainfield one, we had 275, and Moose had about 300. And I'll bet you there's about 200 kids now.
Exactly. So there's a bigger problem, is getting volunteerism going out there and working. So I will talk to Chris. I'll follow it up with you after.
Anything else for Rick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do. I have some questions regarding the salary increases. I'm really not comfortable with these at all. Are these contractual as well?
No, so these are not contractual, we are non-union, so let me explain the reasoning behind this. So last year, all departments were asked to find ways to cut the budget. Both myself as department head and my assistant director decided to voluntarily take 3 minutes because we wanted to make sure services were maintained both for the seniors and for our families to utilize the rest services. We also had a program part-time at the time who we did not want to lose because, again, she helped run a lot of those programs. So we did volunteer our raises to help the community and help the services be maintained. This year we would be up for our normal like 3% like most people are. And then Lisa and Kevin have recommended it would be better for us to try to be up to what we should have been up to begin with. Which again, if we had gotten the 3% last year and this year, it would have been a 6% overall increase to date, like with the new. We're asking for the 5% just to bring us back what we would have been if we had not volunteered our business last year.
Why did you leave the full board around 2%?
There are other confidential situations going on with that position that led to performance concerns, so that is why that is a different percentage.
And why is the program coordinator going up 39%?
The program coordinator position
We talked
changed
about that in
mid-year.
November. See how the custodian is down? That was already approved by the Board of Finance.
You mean that, the full-time.
Say that, it was
Correct, so the custodian position used to be full-time and she used to be part-time.
Yeah.
And we basically just flipped. Correct. So it wasn't an increase in expenditure, it was just a flip-flop of role.
Do you need a full coordinator?
I would say yes, after being that on top of everything else, but I am looking at other possibilities while maintaining that budget, but making it more efficiently run, as well as looking at how can we build on and invest in our employees to make sure that there's a ladder so that people stay instead of moving on to positions elsewhere. So there's different things that, we've talked, myself and Virginia, and I think Kevin with you about that, just about some ideas moving forward that we may be looking at, but again, not increasing, if anything, it would decrease a little bit, but it would open up a couple different avenues. The problem we're seeing sometimes with one person in charge of aquatics is that one person is in charge of aquatics. So if that person goes out, like they have gone out unexpectedly, it's a scramble to try and get everything covered. I don't want to put all our eggs in one basket
So
anymore.
my question is, the one person's out, so the pool's closed currently?
Partially.
Okay, partially. And then there's also 200,000 slated for repairs to the pool. So how long is it going to be shut down if those repairs need to be done?
So that's an estimate right now of, they're saying roughly 6 weeks, depending on what they find when they open. So
That's September, October.
correct. So it would be in our quieter season when our lifeguards typically leave and our hours go down a little bit regardless. The repairs are federally dictated repairs that have to happen for 6 weeks.
So here's my thing. So how many people do we have that buy like annual memberships to use the pool?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I could give that number for you.
Because I know if I bought an annual membership and I was going to close. I usually looking for a reimbursement. I would not be happy.
So we do warn membership owners of that at the beginning so that they know, like, if there's a mechanic failure for a day or two, that you don't reimburse for that. So they aware of that. It's actually right on their card that they get. There's a sticker reminder of that. If it's for a prolonged closure, like something like this, that is a different scenario. I would give a refund, or I would freeze their membership and then extend it, because again, that's a prolonged closure.
Right, because again, that doesn't seem fair to me.
Correct, yeah, no, something like that, we would definitely freeze memberships and allow them to kind of take up where they left off when we get in. The alternative, just normally, so you know, is we also offer punch passes as well, and those do not expire. So once you pay for the punch pass, you're good, like, and those are definite, so.
Now, with the park field maintenance, so we took the porta potties off. So it's
Well,
at
not off
30,
entirely, two of them.
two of them, so what's the deduction there for the 33,000 removed two? Are you aware of that?
I'm working on that, hold on. So roughly what I'm looking at right now would be, give or take, about $8,000 before I knew about those two coming off with the cost of all the porta potties that we currently are. The single units, which are what we're at each for Little Leagues, are $150 a month for each unit, and then you times that by roughly 50. So that's the amount that you can save on there.
But I want to go back to the pool real quick. We have to determine, do we want to go full forward with this? Do we want to open all day, every day in charge, or do we want to close it? You know, and that's something that you guys, or another committee, whoever it may be, as a whole, determine what do we want to do. Do we want to invest in the pool? Right now she's hiring people. It's hard to find people. Is it part of the community? Do we want to embellish it more and charge more and make it a full service pool? Or do you want to close the pool? So I think having that poor decision doesn't help the department head either. So
Well, I don't know if
we
this
need
is
to
the
make
right place to bring this up, but, I asked one of the selectmen, at the selectmen meeting that we organized, committee, which is advisory, just like the capital, but to figure out, because half the people in the town say, covered in, and half the people in the town say extend the hours.
I think the pool is an asset.
I agree.
But here's my thing, Sean.
I know my kids.
So
work
I've
so-
advocated for the pool to stay open for a very long time. But I've also advocated for good programs. I've also advocated for better marketing. I've advocated for hours of operation. The pool has to start has to profit.
That's
So
why I want
if we're
to start
investing
limiting.
$200,000, where's our return on our money? This has been a common conversation year after year after year.
I've never looked at it as a pool that to make money. I'd like to see it come close to breaking even, in my opinion. I think the benefit of the pool, right off the bat, to me, is swimming lessons for kids. There's a lot of kids that do want to swim.
But our children, are they getting that? Are we
Mine
having-
did.
We
I
run
used the pool.
But that's between your kids. I'm asking current now, like how many children?
So up until our cause coordinator went out, we were running lessons during the week and on Saturdays, and full year, around the year. They were full classes of waiting lists every session, so that much I can say. Open swims, also, we've had a lot of complaints over the years of wanting more time with open swims because it was very class heavy right now with water aerobics and things like that. So with our current situation with the coordinator being out at this time, I've had some time, I've been elbow deep in food. Crash course for me. But what I have also done is reached out to some of our other communities, like Wyndham Rec, who also have a community pool. My mentor through CRPA, which is the Network for Recreation and Parks in Connecticut, also runs like 10 different pools in Newington and has a lot of experience. So I've been interconnecting with a lot of them and seeing what they do with their pools, like what their schedules look like. So what I would like to see happen with our pool is become more open swim and those type opportunities heavy, while still offering the classes that people want and need for fitness and wellness. But what my goal is, and I'm very adamant with us, is that I'm working towards in 1 year having that pool open at the bare minimum, Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. That is my goal that I'm working through. I do believe it's possible. I do believe if we get the pool open and running that way, it could very well break even, if not more so. But that is what my goal is. It takes time because I have to hire right now, and this position is kind of, I don't know if that person's coming back or not, so I'm kind of in a weird spot where I can't hire, I can't do a lot with that right now.
So right now that's the focus, and we'll go and tell us otherwise, because we just said, get more lifeguards, be open 6 days or something.
just
just
not one
working
person.
with Wyndham to try to get
Are,
that.
are there grants to help us maintain that?
I don't personally know of any, I can always ask Shannon. to
Well,
look.
let's
For
do that.
maintenance, probably not.
What's that?
For maintenance,
Yeah,
probably not.
She's got classes.
Or upgrade or anything that could help offset costs to that pool. If
I
there's,
doubt
It's
there
more
are
like a
any.
capital item or a new thing, it's not usually for maintenance.
well, you got $250,000 in repairs you're talking about. so
$200,000.
$200,000 in repairs. If we offset some of that into some sort of something with a grant or
Or,
something.
you know,
that-
The other thing that I've asked too, and I don't know if this is something that's been looked into, but are we doing anything as far as like, because I know one of the rehabilitation facilities has an indoor swimming pool. And you can actually utilize that if you have like, if you need rehabilitation or therapy. So like I had a brother who had a stroke who would benefit from the use of that pool. Are we looking into working with insurance companies, medical facilities, any
So
kind of
besides that
like?
silver sneakers, which is
Something that I'm looking into, I know they've looked into it in the past and what the staff, I had Amber who was here before. So what she told me was there was something with how it was set up that it was not going to be an easy maneuver to try and do that with the system in place right now. It's not that I'm giving up on it, I just haven't had time to look into it, but it
The
is
issue
something I
is the
want to look
transfer.
at.
So I work a lot with people with disabilities, so if you have a person in a wheelchair, trying to transfer them to that chair lift to go up the steps into the pool, that's where your problem is, because then how do you get the automatic chair up those stairs? So we need some kind of either ramp system or elevator system there.
So I've already asked
Or
Shannon.
you gotta have skilled people who do proper
So I
transfers.
have asked Shannon, because I just recently attended a certified pool operating training. So I did ask Shannon if they learned at that training, there are some money typically funded through DEI. Yeah, so many acronyms.
I would be hard pressed that BSD or BRS does not have any grants available, or could point you in the direction of getting grants
For
for
ADA compliance.
ADA compliance for that pool, and then we could possibly utilize that for PTO therapy for people with disabilities. There are a lot of people with disabilities that could benefit from that heated pool,
And for
and the
instance,
town pays money from the insurance.
one of the sections I'm looking at doing is when we reopen to some other open swim ideas, is also to have like a sensory sensitive and disability sensitive, like open swim, so that the numbers are lower, and that there's more dedication to having the care that they need. Because coming to a regular open swim where you have 50 people is not something that somebody with sensory or certain disabilities are able to do. So I'm looking at trying to diversify the schedule.
Beth, along the lines of insurance, I've mentioned to you prior to check into silver sneakers. They're really big on everything as far
The
as
note
that
is
is
still right on my computer at my desk, but I promise.
So we gotta get the pool open, and that's the first, of course, it's, we have to hire like that.
The other thing I just want to mention is, along with Naomi says, I have a friend that drives all the way to Western to go into a pool where there's a treadmill in the water. And I guess specifically after, everybody has knee surgery these days. But if you were going to check into any of that stuff, it might be something
I can
to look at.
I can give it a
I would think it's more specialized.
equipment.
Yeah.
But you might be able to get it through an
So she
ACH.
should look at it.
Look into it, but I think that'd be more specialized and really not.
All right, guys, so we're with the time, the other, as we're getting
I have
started.
one last question. I should lost my train of thought.
Maybe this will help. Can you, I know that we talked about this, but can you review the $20,000 increase in the senior expenses, please?
So senior expenses was cut drastically last year, without really looking at what was in for senior resource expenses. Last year to this year is very similar as far as what I'm requesting. So in our senior expenses, I have our senior transport driver, which he handles the Traverse and the minibus. He is certified for both. And he currently would be making his current rate times 28 hours a week, 52 weeks. So it's roughly $30,000 just for him. We have no other funding for that right now. We did lose the transportation grant. So we've been purely running on fees and donations. Thankfully, a bank came through this year and gave us a grant we were not expecting, which has helped us keep our driver basically for the year. It also encompasses rehiring our senior program coordinator, which was one that worked 3 days a week part-time. They would be handling running games, crafts, activities for the seniors on a weekly basis. That position was cut and the budget was cut. And we have had a lot of complaints from our senior population that that person is gone. I, office staff, have been trying to do what we can do, but on top of everything else, we can't have somebody down there 3 days a week, every week, when we're doing recreation and pool and everything else that we're running. So that would be looking to reinstate that, and that's roughly $9,000. The senior social service coordinator is there part-time, 6 hours a week, 3 days on Monday, 3 hours on Monday, 3 hours on Friday. So she helps seniors with their housing, with meals, whether it's they're trying to get into senior housing, whether they're looking for other support. So she works a lot with the social service needs. So that's maintaining her at the 6,000. Senior fitness services are typically offset by fees, so I did take that out this year from last year because any of our fitness classes, if we do not have enough to run the class, pay the instructor, we are not running the classes. Thankfully, that has not been an issue, but that I took out this year. Senior podiatry, we also incorporate into that. That's roughly $5,000 on the town end. We do have a senior resources grant that supplies the remaining roughly $10,000 on their end a year. So that grant runs from October 1st through September 31st. And like I said, that provides $10,000 towards visit costs, and we are only allowed to ask for suggested donations at the visits for how much those visits are. We can't dictate that they get paid that for the grant, so we are responsible for that other $5,000. Senior center supplies is, again, it's just for providing programs that come in, such as like Horizon Wings or something like that. Those are typically anywhere from $300 to $600 depending on the program. We don't do that frequently, but we do try to do it a couple times a year for the bigger things. And then also, like, if we needed new chairs to replace, because we did purchase some last year, which was helpful for our seniors who have difficulties maneuvering from their walkers into the seating arrangements. And just basic, like, additional craft supplies if we were to need them. Again, craft supplies is minimal. It's more of those other things, because we have a lot of donations coming from the community for different craft things. So that's more just those little things that we try to provide for the seniors for additional events.
Now, vehicle expense. You took that out last year, zeroed it out.
That was because it was put into senior expenses last year. So that's why we took it back out.
But you were at 3,000 last year, the year before, and you went 9,000 this year. What expenses are?
So the expense for the vehicles typically are your gas mileage. And we do have 2 vehicles running this year. We only had the Traverse running the previous year. So the minibus is at $350. It's a monster.
So our fuel's in there.
The fuel's in there, yep. So basically, you're looking for the Traverse. I estimated roughly $4,600. That's incorporating your gas, which is roughly, and this was back a couple months ago, not now, $300 per month that we were averaging then. Maintenance, you're looking at approximately 4 oil changes per year, depending on how often we run. So you're looking at 180 roughly. This year, we're coming due for a full tire replacement, so we're looking at $1,400 for a tire replacement on the Traverse. And these, I did reach out to multiple companies to get estimates on before I put this in. Individual flat tire replacements, because again, we had almost one. It turned out to just be a fill, but again, those are just things that can happen through the course of the year, so planning $700 for in case of flat tire. And then new brakes will most likely be needed in this budget season, so that's why I have an estimate there. So a total of $4,600 just for the Traverse. And then for the minibus, again, because it's not running as frequently as the Traverse, I also was able to estimate approximately $300 per month for that. It is starting to run more, and as you know, gas has gone up. And then again, oil changes and lift servicing, I'm estimating at approximately $1,500 for the year by the time we get through the year.
Who's maintaining these vehicles?
So Traverse is handled by our town mechanic wherever possible. So for basic oil changes, it goes through them, roughly $50 or so an oil change.
Okay, so he's doing brakes too?
Typically, yes, as long as he can do that, yep. Otherwise, we would go somewhere local. At the time of this, Mr. Chanel had already retired, so I didn't have the mechanic to go to for estimate on that. So I got outside sources for that locally. And then the minibus also is being handled by the town mechanic as far as basics. So like if it's a tire issue, if it's oil changes. I'm assuming he'd also be able to handle brakes, but I don't know. But I did talk to him about lift servicing, because after so many uses of the handicap lift, you do have to get it serviced to make sure it's maintained properly. He said he is not able to do
I
that.
don't think that's been certified.
That's something I do have, yes, I would have to go to, the closest one to us is actually Oxford, Massachusetts. That handles the lifts.
Good.
Thank you. Can we go back to the senior expenses?
I have two quick
Go ahead.
questions. The playground equipment for Oregon, I saw that you said that you're doing a fundraiser. How much is that equipment? How much is needed for that equipment?
So I don't have exact yet because we haven't had sat down with the playground company to plan everything else. That costs money too. But basic climber, like the one in Lions Park, for instance, is roughly $150,000. We're looking at an inclusive climber, so depending on what that piece ends up looking like, that could potentially be more. We don't know until we kind of know what we get in space and look at those types of things. But inclusive climbers tend to be bigger, drawn out a little bit more because of the slopes for the handicap accessible ramps.
Are there grants available for that?
That's what we're currently looking into right now, because especially with it being an inclusive playground, that may open up avenues that our normal funding streams wouldn't be able to access. Whereas now there may be other companies and other interests involved because it's an inclusive playground, which is not a common playground as we see it right now.
And then my other question is building repairs. You have 15,000. What is that for?
So building repairs was something that previous to me, just to give you the background, was just dumped into supplies and expenses prior to me.
Stating that in the last
Yes,
meeting.
which I did not like because again, that's not really adequately showing what it's being put to. So that's more like if your HVAC system breaks down. We have an issue with the siding, we have an issue with the roof, or, you know, any of those basic repairs to the building and stuff is more what those are, whereas our actual expenses now is more like office expenses.
Beth, don't we have an issue with the heat already, or?
This past year, we had a lot of issues with the heat. Yeah, so.
Is that, have we already paid for that, or is it?
Those things were coming out of the supplies and expense at that point, which is now, I believe, in the negative. They say you might be able to speak to that, because again, that wasn't separated out, and those are things we weren't expecting to hit either. So I'm trying to bridge that gap for next year and be planful without going too far over.
So I guess that's my question. Like, is the 15,000 just like
It's based off
an
the
estimated number on?
It's estimated based on what we've been spending in the last 2 years I've been here. So I've kind of taken, I have copies of everything, I save all of it, and I go through and I calculate, okay, we spent this much on HVAC, we spent this much. So it's based on estimated repairs.
I'm happy we've seen a placeholder, that little does need some work.
We're trying to get it up there little by little.
And then the doors.
Yep, the ADA doors need to be repaired, so we're working on that.
And again, I go back to grant commission. I know
Yeah,
in
we
the
got
past,
a lot
we've
of
gotten
grant
grants, I think, police department got grants for doors? You don't know?
I know grants are getting harder to find too now because a lot of the federal grants have dried up, which a lot of the state grants are funded through. But it's not meaning that we're not trying to look. I'm also trying to work with the door company specifically for that issue because I'm trying to find out if they stand by their product. That's an older product because it's been in there for a while, so I don't know if they would come out and keep it under their work or not. So I'm currently kind of working on that whole situation. But with the doors, we can't fix the doors until the engineering is fixed in the sidewalk. So that's the bigger hold up right now.
Frosty,
Right.
so you have about the concrete.
Yeah, we know what we have to do. Sean's already gone and looked at it, so we're kind of.
Capital.
When is Shannon gonna be here? Did anybody ask, no, we haven't spoken to anyone. At the board. I mean, I hear a lot of the department heads.
I still, okay.
Okay, I'm good with my questions. So for you,
Okay.
sorry.
I do have one more question. So the math is not adding up for me on the senior expenses. What you gave us was 53,000, which is below the 73 that you're requesting by 20 grand. So I'm not sure what I missed. Driver at 30, two items at 9,000, two individuals at 9,000 apiece.
And you have program coordinator at 9,000.
Yep.
And senior service at I have 52,000. 52,850.
Okay, well, I was kind of So 53, but you're asking for 73.
Senior citizens.
The actual is right 26.
Right.
I have 531, but the lifeguard. There's a lifeguard, that's a. Because I have 52, 850, because originally, this might be related. Originally, the vehicle expenses were also over that.
Okay,
So that would be almost another 10,000. I don't know why I was that.
I have issues.
Because on mine here,
She changed it after the first budget, which travel.
yeah, so I have 52, 850.
So we're gonna cut that from
So I
the
can,
yeah?
you and I can look at that after, after for sure clarification.
I'm not comfortable with it sitting the way it is right now. I'd like to see that cut down to 53.
Well, that's the estimate I have on mine, so somewhere along the line.
You want to do the 53?
Yes, please.
They were kind of there.
You applying for that other 5310 grant again? Sure. Are you applying for the 5310 grant again?
No, give us another bus.
No. It's the driver.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we should really have records on that.
So swimming pool, so the cost of the swimming pool and the lifeguards is 95,000? Am I understanding that correct?
Right, and that actually is going to be.
But that's not what we need to do.
Correct, yes, so that would be. But yes, so what your operations for your pool is going to be the cost of your lifeguards, your equipment and maintenance, your chemicals, and your utilities. So your breakdown for your equipment and maintenance, you're looking at 2 UV lamps, 2 UV sleeves, 2 small filters, which are twice a year, 2 large filters twice a year, and then other repairs and equipment charges roughly 4,000, which sometimes, like for instance, the UV bulbs may go, things like of that nature. So that's roughly 10,000 a week for equipment and maintenance. Your chemicals, you're looking at approximately 250 per bucket and 16 buckets of chemicals for the year. So that's roughly 4,000. Your utilities are your pool electricity, which for 12 months is estimated based on, a little bit increase with electricity, is roughly 13,000. Your gas, we do have the, for the heating of the pool, the gas, that's 12 months for roughly 6,500, and then you have the quarterly water bill, which is approximately 1,600, and then you do have the lifeguard in addition.
She's actually thinking it should be changed to 114. So that 20 grand that was in the senior expenses, yeah,
How many lifeguards are we hiring?
So what we calculate on is one lifeguard Monday through Friday doing all the hours. Because again, we're looking at getting it open Monday through Friday, 7 to 8, and then also the addition of the Saturdays of 10 hours altogether. So I calculate roughly 75 hours a week to be open. At the worst case scenario, times 52 weeks a year, and they're at $20 an hour for lifeguards. So that's where I get that number from. I do one phase, but we would be looking ideally at working up to wherever possible for 6 days, correct? And that is the guideline for.
One seems a little like maybe,
One
if somebody's doing a rescue, there's nobody call for ambulance.
Someone going to the bathroom, I just having one here.
Typically, we're only doing one if it's like a 1-hour class, and that's if there was no one else to cover. And again, that was pretty much our robotics coordinator in the past because of her experience level. The sessions that we have open swims, we have 2 on deck. Not all of them make 20 an hour, but our season guards do, so our senior guards, so that's about half of my crew right now make that. So again, it's like the easiest way to justify it, depending on which guard is on, which fee.
So when we did this in January, pool wasn't open as much, so she said in her budget 114 versus this 95.8.
And we also raised the cost of the
The
lifeguards.
lifeguards are
on online and you can forward to us. Also a lifeguard, correct?
She's she's
On a salary, but yes, she is also a lifeguard.
But she's there, so there's two people there.
She was running by herself in the morning.
Is it possible going forward in the future we can separate the pool and the lifeguard? I don't like them combined like that. I'd like to see what we're
I
actually
can do it for
paying.
next year. I can do it now.
Yeah, let's do that now.
Let's just have a chat about it.
Yeah.
Pool expenses, like her.
These should be two separate line items, so that way it's a little bit more transparent and understandable for
Yeah,
us.
that's what we've been doing a lot. So
Yeah.
I like the idea of that.
No problem.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I'd like to see the pool just away from the whole rec department, just so.
It is, it's in the general fund, the rec department is different.
Okay.
So, do you wanna go with her 114 though, what do you have for pool expense, what do you have for lifeguard?
Lifeguard is 78,000 monthly.
78,
If we're open, whatever you do, that.
so that's for the full time. That's for the state. You guys wanna do that?
And
And then your pool expense would be 22, 30, 36.
How many hours a day is that? 60
65 hours per week for Monday through Friday, so 10
hours.
plus 10 for Saturday, so we have 75 hours total per week.
The bigger net about the same, I mean, the same,
And what are you suggesting? You're gonna take the 20 out of the senior
So we already
expenses?
changed to senior 63, and
Yeah.
then we'll put pool expense at 36, and lifeguard cost at 78. And then so we'll be able to track it, and, you know, we can reduce it if the pool becomes closed. And that's why, you know, we've been doing more line items to try to bring more transparency across the board and all the departments, but like,
Because we need a better grasp on the pool.
Yes.
We really do.
especially if you're gonna have that
The
hard
people deserve
conversation
that.
about you keeping it open or you closing it. Are we good with that?
Not really, but okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Val.
Okay, we're on to selective.
So I just want to pause here for a minute and say something. And I want to direct it to Beth.
Okay, Beth?
I would like to direct this to you. I hope you did not find that I came off too harsh to you at the previous meeting, because I actually commend you for not only coming here once, but twice to explain and go over your budget, because we've had other department heads who have not paid us the courtesy to come and do that. So I would like to thank you for giving up 2 nights of your time to come and do that for us. I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Very nice.
Yeah, she did the write-up. Yeah, on this one, yeah, and she did the write-up last time.
I do, I appreciate
And that was her
that.
birthday.
Yes, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Okay. Legal officer selection.
So is the 9.63%, Lisa, is that inclusive of a mid-year raise?
No, that is what we were discussing earlier when we had the registrar conversation, that we have all elected officials in at 9.63%.
I can't justify a 9.63% increase when COLA is 2.83, number one. Number two, you're in a depressed area financially, and our elected officials are looking for those kinds of increases. I can't support that.
And we did have the salary survey at the beginning, that was given to you before.
Yeah, I get it, but it's still, I can't support something like this, not this high.
I think this line should be brought back to 3%, just like the union contract for the union workers.
But I don't think we give some of the employees, you know, a the 9.63 and then say 3% for some of the others. I mean, these are elected people. We can't judge their,
So are you
like, work
saying
performance.
all the elected at 3%?
How many elected, what is it, 5?
Seven.
7
You're
elected.
talking about the first selectman, second, third selectman, you're talking about the town clerk, the tax collector, you're talking about the 2 registrar voters.
We do have the right to change it by rule. It doesn't have to be a blanket across. But if you're feeling it's ethically, we shouldn't be. Yeah, it's better to be fair and consistent possible. Because elected officials are elected, so their real report card is by people that vote for them.
My experience in the industry is, okay, this should be making this, you only look at that. So you can't give it all to them in 1 year. You have to kind of work at getting to where it's just steps. So I would say 5% would be reasonable for most people.
Yeah. And I would not be averse to that.
All the
Yeah.
Elected officials, I could agree with that too.
But ultimately, this will be up to the taxpayers to decide, but I think that we need to be cognizant of the fact that people are struggling. And
think that we
whether
also have to
industry-wide people are making more money or not, the fact is that we are not living in an area that supports that kind of industry.
The other side of that devil's advocate is that they're all, if you do a comparison study, they're all underpaid.
This is
You know,
something that we could
But they're also getting better health
hearing
insurance this year.
and hear what our public has to say. Do they support this?
They're also getting better health insurance.
Yeah, yep,
Everybody is.
yep.
Everybody.
I would support 5%, but I
Every town
cannot,
employee is getting better
I
health
cannot
insurance.
support 9.6%.
I truly think that the people leading the charge should be getting the 3%, just like the lowest person. My opinion, like I said, is 3%.
And that's just for the board of selectmen. We would like to adjust it based on position.
Yep.
So the other elections are, what?
Yeah, I don't, we've already discussed.
That's the one thing I object to is giving this person that and then this person that. These people have been elected by.
But you didn't say that during the rec. That's my only.
Well, you know what, I should have.
Because I had an issue with
Said
that.
Excuse me, I'll
Yeah,
finish.
because I had an issue with,
Excuse me, I'll finish, because I did think of it, as soon as I turned the page and I saw Kevin, I was like, well, Beth is extremely underpaid for her position, and we didn't talk about that when we flipped through rec.
because we
I
have,
take that as
we have
my.
non-union employees getting 5%, 39%, and one getting 2%.
But she also didn't have a raise at all last year, she had a raise last year.
But the 39%, they can't go by that because that was a negotiated agreement earlier.
But you had 2 staff getting 5% and 1 staff getting 2%.
Well, I got a problem with that too.
Yeah, I do too.
That's.
And I
It's
also
based on
said that
performance, but I can't say about performance because I don't know about that.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, I think the way we're doing pay raises across the board aren't okay. For everybody. I think you have an unfair standard that's already been set, and you're asking us to make it fair. And how can we make it fair when it's already been made unfair? You have elected officials that they're getting 1 pay raise, and paid employees that got 2 raises.
Well, we So talked right about there. this last week, we
Right.
talked about giving them the 9.6, and then that was gonna catch it up, so that there's no mid-year increases. And
There should be
we
no
decided-
There should never be
Should
mid-year
never be
increases.
mid-year.
And
We
like,
decided last week.
absolutely
that-
no offense to like Mike and Tom, but you guys have only been on the job for like less than 6 months, and you're getting a 9% raise. I want to work for the town of Plainfield. I honestly do at this point.
Yeah.
We got.
How do we do this? How do we justify this to the taxpayers?
Here's my question.
My opinion, like I said, the union contract is 3%, and the selectmen should be following the union contract. Shouldn't be any more than
We negotiated the contract.
But in all honesty, honestly, if you think about it, in that terminology, they shouldn't get any higher rates than the lowest person in wage, so maybe they should have two.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, completely not.
So you go with three. So you go with three.
My feeling is that we should just approve it the way it is. I mean, we're gonna bring it to the public. You know, these numbers have been through how many people?
I wish I could justify with my raises every year. I wish I could just tell my boss, this is what I want, that's what it's gonna be.
But we're saying all this is a big assumption, but maybe your pay is in accordance with the rest of whatever your job title is across the industry.
But these jobs aren't.
But I didn't
Our
run
town
for this
clerk, our
job.
tax assessor stood right here and told us, you can start here, you can work here for 25 years, you start here in the first year and you get paid the same amount of money.
Right.
We have no set standard of employment and raises and how this is being done. So we need to rectify that somehow, some way.
But we talked about that last week. We were gonna give them the 9.6, and then next year we would be on track because there wouldn't be a mid-year increase. I didn't agree to that.
I just want to clarify, we're not approving a budget tonight. We're not doing anything until we get to talk to the public and hear what they think. So we can hear what they think and then make a decision on the salaries at the meeting the day after.
I'm good with that, because I'm, yeah.
Yep, yep.
Like I said, though, in my opinion, it should be three.
See, here's the other thing is, the tax collector. I know, it's gonna be a lot.
Was there anything else on the selectmen sheet that we wanted to go over, other than the salary?
You know what I'm saying?
Really wants to take three votes.
2,500 would be the notice.
That's each year by year.
That's, I guess, yeah, if you go back and look at,
I mean, I know it's not gonna happen, but I'm just saying you guys will.
yeah, I believe the legal, because if you look at what he's been doing historically,
The actuals for 12/31 are exactly half what we're looking at.
yeah, yeah.
3 times last year.
I'm good with anything except for the salaries.
We'll accept. That's what the same thing for tax and town clerk.
Well, Diane, yeah, she was talking about, I don't know if she wants to say anything or.
What?
I think you guys heard everything that we needed to say.
But you did ask for department heads, and some of them did come, so if you do have questions, I think it would be appropriate.
And you're also looking at a different salary versus two. You're talking 94,000, 85,000.
So I'm so confused, what was the difference between talking to Diane and talking to that?
You can be there.
You can that, however you want, that's fine,
But you
I'm
just
good.
said it was.
You're right, no, you're right, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking, my mistake.
So it also says CEO of the town at 94 and department head at 85. And it's just gonna put us back on that.
Right.
That's why I look at what other towns are doing. But I look at your fairness and possible.
You know what though, Lisa, and I understand that, but we are not other towns. We are the town of Plainfield, which has a depressed population, and that should be at the forefront of everybody's mind.
That's why we, this original budget was reduced to drop in the mill rate.
Well, and I don't think a 0.1 mill drop is sufficient at all. But we can get to
We
that
have
in a
to
little
look at
while.
other towns too. We're the only town proposing a drop in the mill rate, it's not a reduction. So I'm saying we're starting from a good place in these workshops and we'll keep going through it, and that's the whole idea. And next year we'll just get even better at doing it earlier.
I think it's time to get feedback from the residents at our public hearing.
Yep.
And see just what they're thinking. It seems like we, yeah, because I don't know any senior on a fixed income that's getting an $8,000 a year raise.
Nope.
No, but we are getting 2.8%, which is.
And then they raised our Medicare coverage too, don't forget. So we're getting nothing.
$3,000 for $3,000.
So we'll wait to hear from the public to do all the
First,
other.
yep, first, I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's really the questions we have for tax, town clerk, and selectmen, right?
Yeah.
So we have town contributions? Actually, I thought you guys were talking about income.
I had it as United Service. Yeah. So we were looking to add that 3,000.
I would like to, yeah.
Why are we giving them 3,000?
We have in the past, for, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years, easy, maybe more than that. But we also asked, last year was a difficult year, so that was one of the things we did.
But I found something interesting, Kevin. So correct me if I'm wrong, but we received the American CARES American Recovery money in 2021, right? And United Services got $50,000 from us. Or at least that's what we're slated to get because this is from the town website.
Right.
So why are we giving them more than we're giving like Project PIN or Access
All right.
Agents?
The 50,000 you're talking about came from the ARPA funding.
Right.
Who we were also, there might have been 1 or 2 other ones we did donations to help and support the services that they do. Normally what they ask in the letters that they send from all these different agencies, they ask for much more money. We use United Services in our town for many different issues and support services for mental health. So it was one of the things we did cut last year, unfortunately. But again, back to the issue of the 50,000, that was a one-time request for one of the services that they were providing for us. So I think that was appropriate at that time. 3,000 a year is very minimal based on what they're really looking for needs.
Is that money useful?
Mental health, for the most part, mental health, they'll do services for coming into the town of Plainfield to do different groups. Have you been over to their services over at the Oregon site?
No, I use my insurance.
Okay. But that's what people utilize when they don't have places to go to or monies to utilize some services.
I'm good with giving them 1,000 like Project PIN, but I'm not good with giving them 3,000, I'm sorry. That's just my opinion.
There's all these
Because we're giving Access Agency 500, we're giving Project PIN 1,000, and we're giving them the most other than the Memorial Day parade. I'm assuming that's the 4,000 for the parade, correct?
That was correct. Yeah.
Should I write parade there?
Yeah.
I think so.
That's not Memorial Day parade.
What's that for?
No, that's Memorial Day. We do, so that is the Sailors and Soldiers is part of the monies that we give for the,
No, we're talking about Memorial Day.
Memorial Day money.
that's flags.
That's flags also?
Yeah, Sailors and Soldiers, I believe, is our grant that we have doing the services.
Memorial Day, the funeral, or the grave site?
Yes.
Okay, okay, so I will put parade.
Yeah, so it's not that.
Sailors and Soldiers is part of that veteran services that we offer.
Yeah, we were aware of that one, but then there's the Memorial Day one.
That's for flags.
That's for flags. On top of the other flags that we get.
That's
Okay.
this was with cemeteries.
Should this be cemetery flags?
Yes.
Memorial
Yeah.
Day?
Yeah.
And what do we want to do with United Services? So I'll do at least from these 2 weeks, these 2 workshops, let's get a prelim ready for us to get a general idea, because I have to turn it around in 1 day anyway after the public hearing.
I'll support 1,000.
That's what I'll support.
How do you come up with the 3,000?
That was a small percentage of what they usually ask for. They're asking for over 100,000 for the year. So at the time it was 3,000, and that was able to accommodate some of the things that they did for us. So it was just a small percentage.
I was just curious what they actually use the money towards, that's all. I didn't know what it's actually used for.
I can share with you the copies of the letters that they send to us all the time. Same thing with Access Agency. I've actually used to be in your packet.
Used to be in our packet.
Yeah.
When they made the request.
Yep. they all do.
Do they give us any type of statement of how often they did work with someone in our town or stuff?
That's part of the letter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get that for you if you want.
I can't justify access agency as an array of services. Project feeds our community. It's a section, they do the same thing, they have a section. So we're giving them more than we're giving the other two, and I don't understand why. So it's not being made clear to me, so to be equal, one's getting 5, the other two can get 1,000. That's fair. I don't understand the 3,000 on there, unless you're gonna do 3,000 to access, 3,000 to project, then we can't keep doing that.
Are you saying 1,000 to access agency too?
No, 500, we'll keep that.
So just United Services of 1,000?
That's our amount.
At our next meeting, we're actually going to be putting the motion forward, you have the breakdown for us, and we will revisit the discussion. But we can put it for right now, and then leave it in. All right. That's general government basics. Now we go to capital items. The first one, capital is not funded by fund balance. That's also that's dictated by the state. The telephone line revaluation got moved. Municipal aid, that once again state, town road aid, once again that's state, and then you got town building repairs by.
What building repairs are we talking about? Is that just a blanket or?
It's a blanket for miscellaneous items.
Is that enough?
Not really.
I mean, you're gonna talk buildings here, 25,000.
There's situations that happen throughout the year, so when it happens, it happens. Unfortunately, we don't have control over it. We do repairs.
I mean, when I'm looking at your expenses in the history,
Yeah, I know. We're looking at 35, 37, and this year we're asking for
You want to make it
25.
40?
no, you're only asking for 25 this year, right?
Right. 40 covers it.
For the last couple of years.
Yeah.
40 might be more appropriate.
I would do minimum do 35.
40 in there, see how it shakes up?
No, we don't.
We do have a lot of overtime there too.
Yeah, we've been closer to 40 for the past few years.
How does everyone feel on that? Like, I understand like at least the first one. It's not just going to be pulling it to use it year over year.
I would prefer, and I'll just throw 2 cents in. I would prefer it to be 40. There's a reason why, especially from this year. To give an example, we had a snow dam over the town clerk's office. Now, we're going to have to work on how to repair that. So I think this would be something that we're looking to, expand on the monies to make sure those repairs are happening.
I thought that was covered by insurance.
That actually was the snow removal, and we just found out this week it's not.
Only the things that they'll cover at this point are going to be for the repairs of the lights, the HVAC unit, and any physical stuff that we went in there and fixed.
We would have been better off to let it crash into the town hall without insurance. Because we're proactive and got rid of the snow insurance companies that we will not cover the snow removal.
Well, I'm thinking, you got issues with the highway garage, you got issues all over the town. All these little buildings have little issues, I can't see that being a problem.
40.
Like I said, bare minimum, we could have 4 years.
Yeah, I think that, yeah. With the 40? As I said, we will have a premium before.
I know straight through nickel and dime and things, but we're increasing other things, but it just didn't make, it doesn't make sense.
That's why we're doing the workshop, because we've done it on a couple of things, and it's just about having these conversations, and we all want to be comfortable. So it's a good thing. We don't want to go in knowing we're going to have to spend more money to fix these things that are going to happen. Historically, they happen every year. All right, so now we'll go to capital funded by fund balance. So these items on the next page have nothing to do with the mill rate. That is strictly fund balance, okay? So I know before you guys all have any questions. start at the top, or you guys want to, okay. 50-foot boom truck, 50 grand.
Is that the actual cost?
We're estimating the cost because we're looking at buying a used truck.
So we did talk about that.
Yep.
Sean, didn't you have a question on that last
I
time?
thought it's too low, but, I mean, that's okay. It sounds like they gotta try to buy one at auction for 50 grand.
That's one of the options.
Yeah,
Actually, the,
some of it, but we didn't have 10 on much of them, so that's why we.
Yeah, the auction was actually 36 at the time, but I wanted to get an estimate to get a bigger, taller one. So I'm thinking 50,000 would do it. Whether it be auction or buy the used one separately.
All right, bridge, that's for 18 appraisal and 10 inspection. You could get one left, so we don't have to do it, but that's something we draft, we guys.
Is that, do we think that number's right?
Yes, we know that we have,
Okay.
No, that was really the concern of the whole board when we were talking before, it's just the accuracy of all the numbers. We weren't really arguing on what we needed on here, just if your quotes are the true numbers, either too high, too low.
And I'd like to pull off on that truck right now.
I felt like we had that.
Yeah, we did. I have no really decided,
I'm
yeah.
going to hold off on the third truck for the building and grounds person.
Right, because we want to hire one person.
You don't want to hire
I
another.
don't know, hiring, we're hiring.
Get rid of the truck.
Yeah, you hire the person, whoever the
I
truck.
just want to make sure I understand. You want to hire the person.
Yes.
Yes.
And so when they go to do some building and ground maintenance, we only have the one truck with a trailer.
Well, we were told they had 2 trucks, and it was a third truck, and that's what's on here.
Okay.
There's 2 trucks there, right?
Anyway, one person that goes out and does all the grounds maintenance now.
You said
So
2
you said-
people in a truck.
You can't send 2 guys with 2 mowers and get the job done quicker,
Or drop one off and then.
and then come back, and then have that third guy.
That's what you like, that's fine.
Get a spare one from the highway.
They're looking for trucks too.
The next one is
I'd like a
Matt
new truck too.
scanner, but I think we're gonna do windows all in one, and the scanner, we got quotes already. You said you wanted to get the scanner and the equipment, right, both things?
Right.
Yeah, did you get the quotes?
I did, I did, it was, 10,000, what was it, Lisa, I sent it to you, do you remember?
Yeah.
10,495 maybe?
Yeah, it was 10,500 for the 2 equipment. So you wanted to put 10,500?
Yeah.
And cross out windows, because windows are something different, if you wanted to get rid of the scanner. CNR creation, that was talked about it. Board of Selectmen, I'm sorry, on the fence, I understand you can't fund something that doesn't exist yet.
Right.
You know, so the idea of having a capital fund, giving the loan money capital fund, and then the capital goes through, so it's not just done here, it's done throughout the year with actual bids and quotes, and then for the public.
And that also eliminates me from this, you have capital.
What's that?
That eliminates all this.
Yes, exactly. If you
Depending
have
upon,
a fund,
depending upon the cost, it's not,
right, you know, then in turn you just say, all right, where are we in the budget, how much can we afford to put in our capital fund for future? And then so you like a straight dollar amount you want to put in the capital fund, and then you have whole procedures that go through Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, public votes on individual items.
I think that seed money's too high to start off with right now.
Well, I thought we agreed that we weren't gonna do it at all until it was actually placed by the Board of Selectmen.
Right, so that's why we're gonna wait for the public hearing, the public select, Board of Selectmen hasn't created the fund yet.
Right.
Because you also gotta worry about how much you want to put in there, because maybe some of these capital items you don't want to approve here, you'd rather see it go to new capital process.
Correct.
So just leave it till after the public hearing, so then we'll know if we even have a fund?
Yes, please.
Yes, everybody? thinks?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so first floor windows, you got windows there, you've got windows also for our tax collector, but that's only $8,000, so.
See, I don't understand that, like, how do we, like, I have a hard time wrapping my head. So we're gonna separate first floor windows from town park windows, like, can't we just get an estimate all inclusive?
Well, that's what we said we were gonna do.
We've argued that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense to me.
So it's just gonna be windows and 100 grand, get rid of the first floor, the town hall windows. That's right.
Yep.
Now, when you were saying the first floor, you're talking the basement area?
No, this is the first floor.
Yeah, so that was better.
Yeah, this is our,
Highway list?
no, you said you could find something for cheaper.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to go a little higher than that. I'm looking more about 100,000. But we have 2 bays.
Why do we need to?
Well, we have a bus. We have the town.
Do we two different types of lists?
No. you see,
Two lists.
What was given this year, the police purchased a lift for a vehicle, for a car. We're talking about tri-axles,
Yeah.
Correct.
the things that are plowed.
Yeah.
Those are much, much heavier, and what I want to be in ground. So you have to buy the equipment, you have to have it professionally installed, you have to have,
When you're talking in ground, you're talking a piston in the ground?
yes,
That's a crazy idea.
why?
Because every garage around here has gone away from that style of system.
Okay,
They've gone to a post system. Because if that piston leaks in the ground, you have contamination in the ground. And you don't know that thing's leaking until it leaks.
this was a
You have an
suggestion.
environmental issue underground.
Do you find the safety of a stand instead safer? Take that as you're thinking of it.
Well, I'm not an expert on this.
Okay. I neither am I.
So I'm really thinking about it. I know they sell lifts, post lifts to lift vehicles. And I know that garages don't put them in the ground anymore, like that. Most mechanic garages I've gone into are post lifts, or they're climb-on lifts.
Yeah, we're professional.
So I don't think we can post it. And I don't understand, what bus do we have? The library bus?
We also just have our own bus now. I know they can go to, you can bring it over to different companies that are in town. We're talking about the minivan.
Oh, the senior center minivan?
Yeah.
Oh, that can just get lifted by, this tricycle looks like that.
Okay, and again, if we're looking at a number, I'm looking closer to 100 and 120.
Right. So we need to.
I can reduce that down from 200 to about 120. I think it's appropriate because of the size. You also have to have it done professionally. I would like to see that number up.
I'd like to see an actual professional write up an estimate. And the other thing is that does our highway department work on the buses?
Yes.
They do?
What bus?
Well, the senior van.
The
Senior van, which is,
Not the dashboard school buses, correct?
No.
And stuff.
who maintains the library bus?
That's the Board of Education.
The Board of Education?
So that would be in that other side.
That DACA does that one?
Yep.
So we don't have to lift that bus. So we're lifting 10 lifters.
Yep.
Not in triaxles, 10 lifters. Highway garage trucks. Unless you have a triaxle on there.
I think that, if I can knock that number down to 120, it's still reasonable.
I think 120 by 2
I know nothing about this.
I'm not comfortable on placeholder amounts unless there's something concrete.
No, I got some different numbers that I saw online.
Would you rather say, that's what the CNR too? Yeah, we can always, put a flight arm on.
Yeah, I don't like that number. That number's, I question that number.
Yeah, let's just have them back on. But it's one over 120.
Wait, just stay right out.
Yeah.
Need to get it right there.
We can take it out and CNR later after that.
If it's approved.
Yeah,
If the CNR isn't approved, then you don't have a lift.
They have a lift, it's just all the.
It needs to be replaced.
Is there any way between now and the public hearing we can actually get like a professional, like, interpretation or estimation or?
We can try. The question is, can we get someone out here to take a look?
Could you try, please? Because I'd rather have some kind of a basis of a number to work off of.
I guess.
Otherwise, we're just kind of guessing, because I know,
In the meantime, you want to move to CNR?
no,
No,
I
it's
just,
great, we're just gonna keep it in the question mark.
Okay.
Change it out to the public record. That one here?
Yeah, please.
Okay, that sounds good. So we'll put a question mark there.
I just can't get educated on anything because it's outside of my wheelhouse. I know nothing about lips.
All right, let's see, state radios, I know you mentioned that before.
Yep. I'm just questioning if we really need it, if all the drivers have cell phones.
This is something, again, 2 years ago was recommended by not only the highway, but also by the police. Not gonna be on a radio, or, or a phone at the same time. You're gonna do all in the same circuit.
Another question mark?
This is really where having the department heads come in front and speak with us really helps with situations like this. Without having them, it makes it difficult in certain things.
I mean, I guess it also depends, you want the, where do you need that $70,000 most? Do you need it there, or do you want that towards the list? If you had to give up one, what would you give up?
If you want me to answer that, I would say hold off on the lift.
The radio is something that Mario, the chief, has requested.
He said it would be helpful to have, and he did mention that in a meeting 2 years ago, I think.
You're right, but you did this petition, you talked about the radios.
We talked about state radios, they've gone to state radios, but I don't remember them talking about the highway garage channels. No, I don't remember them talking about the highway garage. Because the highway garage is off the old system, which was the Peter system.
There's no police state radios.
I guess they're already on it.
Right, right. So you talked about in the past, they down, or they can go to.
So how many radios are we
And then we
talking
don't talk
about?
about the cell towers and all that.
Yeah, how many radios are we talking about?
Probably one per truck, in my guess.
Yeah.
So how many trucks are there? Yep.
I don't think one of the accessory is going up to one of them. And then between them and one other.
Yep.
So how many total?
We're getting there.
Oh, okay.
I see the sheet right
I
there.
have,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Looks like 26.
But that comes with a licensing fee and everything, right?
I mean,
To be able to not do it.
in some respects, Sean, I can really see where this is necessary. Because if you think if a truck's going out, and let's say the police have already been called to a location and the road is closed, there's a pole down, or there's snow, or there's a situation, they're gonna notify, that goes over that radio, correct? So then that power
That's-
driver knows maybe the spare or is needed in that area.
That's if they're monitoring that channel.
But
But wouldn't that be the
Monitor it
purpose
on
of
the
that?
radio.
Right, wouldn't that be the purpose of that, is so they're all on the same channel, working as a unit? That one, I don't know, that one I can justify, but that one if that's how it's being done, Kevin.
Yes.
And we know that that's actually the true
Yes.
policy.
So that kind of falls into
Yeah,
safety.
I don't know if that's, I'd like to know how they use it, that's all. Are they using it to monitor what the police locally are doing? Or is it so they can communicate amongst themselves or amongst the highway garage? On a different channel. If they're on a different channel, it doesn't look good.
don't only allow them to have one channel.
It's just what Naomi said, you have an emergency situation, a bad storm out there, and things are going haywire everywhere. You utilize that one channel and that one radio.
Exactly.
You don't go back and forth between your phone
Yep.
and the radio.
Yep.
So keep it?
Yeah.
I'm a yes for it.
Yeah, I'm a yes.
I know you guys discussed not flying cars in the investor worry.
Well, can we go back, please, this purchase?
Yeah,
for a
not
second?
necessarily just to worry.
Okay.
What we're going back to,
Household hazard day?
No, there's nothing
There's nothing
there.
there.
Underneath it.
Oh, why?
Why you look at?
Yeah, why would we have nothing when we spent?
You only do your household hazard waste day, every 2 or 3 years.
Oh, okay.
That's for your, paints,
Yep.
leads, mercuries, things like that. It's a very costly process.
Thank you. So 100,000 on Lions Down Park?
Don't need that. I verified with our grant writer what was being spent so far, and the question came up was, well, what's still left in the account? When you apply for a steep grant, you have to utilize all the monies for that particular project, because it's written in there saying what you're using for, and it gets approved by the state of Connecticut. So she has enough money in there to finish off what they want to complete, and I talked about that before with doing lights around the facility. So that is the money that is left in there. We have still waiting for the state of Connecticut to approve our plan for the lights, so there's still money available for that. So you do not need that 100,000 that's sitting in there right at the moment. Or you can either say zero to it, or you can put it to something else.
I would like to distribute it to the other parks. I'd like the Little League, 2 Little Leagues, for Eden Park.
Well, there has to, I hear you, I'm just saying there has to be some more of a concrete
Well, I'm just
plan.
opening the conversation to see if the other board members are in agreement.
Okay.
But I
Because if you said let's put it all in Eden Park, and as she mentioned earlier, just for a playground, minimum, you're talking 150,000. Are there grants? Maybe. And whatever you're going to apply for, you apply for grants. I can tell you the steep grant is starting to go away.
Do you have to do the whole park at one time? Or could you break it up, do a little bit
Well,
this
right
year,
now,
a little bit
it's
next year, a little bit more next year?
Okay, that's a great question. Great question.
Yep.
If you notice, the $500,000 we originally got for the steep grant for here still hasn't been expended the entire amount. So you see the playground that's out there, you see the basketball court, the fitness court, things like that. That's part of that. So there's still a little bit of money left over, and that's what we utilize it for. So yeah, we're doing it gradually as we can. We spent $294,000 out of the 500. So we have 206 left. And that's going to go towards the purchase of the lights, all the electric work, things like that.
So what I'm saying is we have $33,000 in the red line item. That's a little bit.
It was more than, it was 4 bodies and stuff like that.
The 8,000 is for the porta potties, and then there's still a balance. So what I'm saying is why don't we take some of that 100,000, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of.
For the little leagues, for the,
That,
right.
make it more, remember she was talking about it, instead of doing it, she's gonna do little at a time.
Right.
We don't have the money to do it big. So you're saying, let's do big to eliminate the operational cost.
Yeah. Get rid of that.
We just have to-
Again, we're talking fairness. We've dumped how many hundreds of thousands of dollars into one park when we have 2 little leagues and another park that are suffering and struggling?
Well, so is our rec department trying to maintain it. You know, we don't have the even mulch and filling those things. We have our building around people filling in the holes so the swing sets are involved.
I mean, I went over to the Plainfield Little League Park. You bottom out pulling into the dirt driveway.
The last 2 years, we've put money into Lions Park and the park, the Woodland Park in Newsom, is where everything, all our expenses have gone, I think, with that stuff. I haven't seen a lot go into Meridian or any of the other ones, have we?
And what you heard earlier tonight was the fact that she'd already purchased some of those equipment, some of that equipment for Regan Park. It's a matter of waiting till the springtime to put it all up.
So you call it Marina Park and Little League Field? Ground maintenance or park maintenance?
Miscellaneous parks.
Or ground maintenance for park?
I don't think it's, I don't think labeling it miscellaneous anything.
Yeah, we're looking
It
for
needs to be
miscellaneous.
specific.
Those are 3 parks, and
Yeah.
each of them
Yeah,
gets
perfect,
100,000.
Yeah, perfect.
What's that?
Take 100,000, divide by 3, and then each of them would be dedicated to each of those parks.
Which ones?
The Legion and the 2 Little League fields.
I don't know if you want to split it exactly, or, do you want to just call Meridian 2 Little Leagues $100,000 field maintenance? That sound good?
And if one is more and then the other's less, yeah.
Well, it gives us a start, and as Kevin says, it takes more than 1 year, so maybe this gives a basis for what.
Well, my thing is, let's say that the playground equipment, there's a grant, but it's a matching grant, Kevin. at least we're $33,000 towards the match of whatever,
Right.
if we allocate some money for that now. So
If we could put it to just those.
So are we gonna take it out of Beth's line item?
I say that 100,000 for Lions Park is distributed 3 ways, yeah, then what does she need to
She
get
doesn't need
33?
it.
She
Right.
doesn't need it, take that out.
Take it out.
Porta potties on that.
Right, so she'd only need the 8,000, got it.
Sorry, but, yeah, but that next, so do you want me to reduce her line item, to move it to a capital? That's how you want me. But I think she'll be happy because there's more money there anyway.
So we're gonna take out that whole,
She'll have porta potties and other little field maintenance, because she won't take the mulch and stuff and so many people and stuff like that.
so give her back the 8,000?
I would say make it match the 10,000 she had last year. Because there's probably other small things in there too besides porta potties, because it is like field maintenance.
Okay.
I want to verify with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna verify that. That's a very good communication, she comes in all the time and asks.
She seems to have her numbers down, so.
She and I have been working together on getting things posted more correctly, where we're putting things, following through.
She's trying very hard.
Even trying utilizing donations like See My Legacy, so that we can save money by having people donate for different things as well.
All right, so we're reading into Little League Fields, 100 grand. All right. Then we've got rec 88 doors.
And you heard about that earlier because it's working on that with engineering.
That's okay. Moves up bleachers set out in PA.
What's the situation there? Do we know any deal on that? What?
You're talking about the,
Bleachers, the.
We're giving them $33,000, because Moose Up is, that's the Little League.
right. But we're talking about the bleachers that are those old, how do I say this? Poured concrete, big, bleacher seats. We wanted to take those out and put something a little more, updated.
Actually, Scott, was that something Little League would ever consider paying for themselves in the past?
We looked at it, it was too expensive. We had the Army Corps of Engineers come over, and they didn't suggest taking them down because they're afraid it's gonna take down everything. 'Cause that's not Moose, that's a Plainfield field. They worried about the erosion.
It's a little different. Yeah, Plainfield is along that big wall that
Right.
hangs on.
You can't touch
And
those.
Moose Up is just basically poured concrete.
Yeah, there's something behind, I wasn't involved in Moose Up, we were separated at the time. But I know what bleachers is talking about, those would be fine to take down.
Where are those bleachers, Scott?
Next to the Little League field.
And Moose Up or Plainfield?
No, Moose Up.
Moose Up side?
Yeah,
Closer to the concession stand, that first field?
Yep.
Yeah, they're into the woods.
And what do they want to do with the dugouts?
Upgraded. They're all warped, they're all, needing to be upgraded.
So like Naomi just said, they're already putting 33,000 in there. So do we bust it?
You want to hold to take this out for now and see what happens? That means with the Little League, what they want to do, and if they come back with a more concrete plan.
Yep.
We have a CNR as part of that.
Yeah.
Future years.
Because we actually are giving them more money.
Right.
Yeah, right. Because we're doing more stuff.
Yeah.
And the PA, I'm not sure why.
Yeah, because I thought she said that
Why that's
they were
our
supposed to take care of the PA.
Look, for many, many years, Little League's worked with the town of Plainfield. They used to do a great job of going out and getting donations for everything years ago. And again, your population is dropping down, so there's not that many people to help out and go out and try to get different things. They still go out to, I'm sure they go out to Lowe's and ask them for things all the time. A PA system is a little different.
All right, well, we'll take it up till we have a meeting after. P&C flooring, we did say to take out, but then I saw a quote recently for 25,000 for rec flooring. What was that?
That was, in the hallways going in the rec senior center, in between, there's that rug area, and they wanted to take that out because it's not hygienic. you want to bring it down to tile or wood base, one or the other.
So the P&G flooring we decided to take out. You guys still good with taking that out?
Yep.
Do you want to add rec flooring to 25 grand? P&G HVAC, we've heard about that last year. And the unit, how much gallon? QCD, it's every 10 years, I think Ron talked about that, that's in this year. Plainfield Pavilion Street crosswalk, and then we had questions on that one.
The question was, what are we doing over there? Or what is it for?
I think it was, we don't have a pavilion yet, so.
Okay, so
Saying, well, we
at the
didn't-
end of this month, finally, because of the weather, we have a surveyor going out to do the survey of the property. As soon as that's completed, they'll finalize the pieces that are going to go out for a bid for the actual pavilion. The idea would be going across the street and clearing off that, I guess I would call it a washboard parking area, and actually leveling it out and possibly actually topping it with crushed stone or millings, and then making a crosswalk so you can go across the road from that one parking lot and cross over to the new pavilion. The state of Connecticut will not put a push button crosswalk in, so I costed out for us, and it was $30,000.
Why is it crosswalk, push button crosswalk, why would that be needed there?
Again, you're talking about not having everybody being able to drive up for DDA parking area up in the top, but the people will be able to cross across the road, not only just for the pavilion, but also for the school, is a much safer way.
When the school has a football game there,
Mm-hmm.
isn't there
Cross guard,
a police officer?
and not always. I've been there many times, and it's been at your own risk.
Maybe we should get the speed limit down, like it should be there, 25 miles an hour.
So that is a plan for this year, that's why I was putting it in.
So right now, we'd be putting in a crosswalk to go where? To go nowhere.
From the parking lot across the street, from the overflow parking lot to across the street.
To where the pavilion will be.
Well, that's what I mean, once the pavilion's gonna be there.
Okay, so
That we can walk to it across the street.
the RFP will go out probably to be completed, so that it'll be done in sometime in the end of May, beginning of June. Then the bids come in for the work to be done, and hopefully it'll be done over the summer break. Also, what we're looking for is a kit to go up for the pavilion.
How much do you have for that pavilion?
Oh, for the money's left over, it's part of the $500,000 grant. We had a steep grant here, and we had a steep grant over there.
You're talking just the pavilion, you don't have enough money or it won't cover the crosswalk?
The pavilion will cover, and also the parking lot across the street will cover that 500.
Oh, so we're also resurfacing the parking lot across the street?
If possible, yeah.
Because I was questioning that, because that parking lot's terrible repair.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like,
You
let's put a
need a-
crosswalk
you need a
there.
shop or a
Put my
store,
car in
yeah.
there. I mean, put my bicycle in there.
So you're utilizing the remainder of the steep grant?
No, that's a separate steep
Separate
grant.
steep grant. How much is that grant?
$500,000.
$500,000. What do you think that building is gonna cost you?
I have to get you the numbers, I will, if you want.
Well, my question is, why aren't we just putting this crosswalk as part of that project?
Because I was told that the pavilion and the parking lot would cover that $500,000.
Ouch, that's,
That's a fancy
wow.
word.
Fancy pavilion. When you get to leveling property though, that is a cost. So that the parking lot has to be leveled, and then if we can put some, like I say, the crushed stone or millings, that would be great. It's 100 feet long by 30 feet wide.
And what would that be used for?
So we're gonna pay,
I don't understand what it is.
the capital non-recurring plan with that for the $30,000. Because then
I
we
would- I would-
decided to
I would allow that
Okay,
here.
$30,000 for an electric crosswalk, but we won't give $25,000 to our kids. Nah, I'm out. No, I'm not, I'm a no.
What are the 25,000 for our kids for
Why
what?
can't we just have a regular crosswalk? We don't, I mean,
We
that's,
have one now,
and it's obviously worked for how many years, so.
but now you're putting a parking lot into it, also.
What's the
accommodate-
rent rate over there?
Does the pavilion have restrooms?
Not yet.
Well, do you wanna wait to see when the pavilion goes to see? That's what I. Yeah, we can decide, and then if it does equal the whole $500,000, or, you know,
I think
or
it
there's something.
I think it all took for the next
I
year.
think that, yeah. Exactly what you said. Sometimes we want to, yeah, talk through. All right, so I'll take it up for this year, and this way we're going to $1 million, we can make it. Let's see, police room lockers, now, Mario, Chief had it in for next year, but it's in this year, so whatever your pleasure is, and I was coming at Shannon will get one. I did ask Shannon, she said she didn't find any, that was covered. So
You skipped it.
Oh, okay. Just locker room updates.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think the grant has to cover 100% of whatever the cost is, but any kind of offsetting
Right, she said there's
grant.
nothing there, that's what, so that whether it's 5 or 10,000, she said there was no grant applicable to use for the police locker or something, because I asked her after last week's meeting. Because then there's also another town that got a huge, but it's a lot more than that. So, I don't know if you guys want to do the locker room update this year, do you want to wait?
The locker room's
Find out about
disgusting.
that other town that got all that, how's that work? That was great.
I'd hold off this year personally. He didn't ask for it.
No, we have to for next year.
Please re-ask your question, Linda.
You said another town got a grant that included a lot more than just renovating the lockers.
Well, that's what someone in the audience has told me, but I have not yet confirmed that.
And we found out what type of grant it is.
That's my question.
No,
Did they use LOSA?
no.
So it's something, a grant.
$4 million or something, or they revamped the whole police department?
Well, I think somebody did that too.
So, but anyway, we're gonna hold off for this year. for the-
I'm not saying it doesn't need to be done, those locker rooms are a mess, and they need something there.
Certainly are.
We didn't necessarily ask for it, but this year.
Right, it was actually in next year's request, not this year, but somehow it's here.
She had it in for next year.
We have it for next year, and I'm looking at the bottom line for what we got coming out of this. Grant was this year, the lot.
All right, so we'll hold on that, and that goes along with what the chief's original request was.
So, he did request to have the 50,000 for his rental replacement.
That's the general budget, isn't it?
No.
It's not all, it was accidentally taken out of the capital, which is what he had asked for the rentals for this year, he didn't ask for the lockers for this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're still saving $45,000.
Yep.
So we can change this to 50 for rifles and cross the lockers off? Yeah?
So you want 50,000 for rifles and take out lockers?
Yes, and leave the lockers in for the 27, 28, which was what the chief requested.
Yeah. Police record retention system, 55 grand.
We needed that, right?
Yeah,
That was this
yeah.
year's budget.
Yep.
Police SCP, Chicago.
And he's rotating out, correct? Some
I have a comment about that, if you don't mind. These are just the purchase of the vehicles. It doesn't have the included cost of the cage or the racks they have to put in. And on each one of those are 7,000
What, 7,000
per.
So
Kevin, are you sure it's not more?
No, well, originally it was 7,000, that's last I heard.
Okay, so are you suggesting then that 110 is too low?
Absolutely.
Okay.
125.
Okay.
125?
How did you find his money last time? Did he have enough there last time, or did he just take it out of some other?
I think he took it over there.
this morning, I brought it up at the last meeting, that's actually now, this is what was in the same combo, 25.
Yep.
If we don't need to replace the second floor, when we did it, that's what was about, and then this morning. Pool renovation?
Do we have votes on that? Is that a quote?
We have a quote of 110, just for free.
And they're not gonna really know until they actually break it all up.
The federal compliance, the cap that will be out of the net. So that's the majority of it, and then part of the pipes are broken. And so this is if we don't have to dig up and replace the pipes, that would be just a like, sealers, is the correct terminology there? I got it right there. We got that now.
Well, Kevin, you had stated in not our last meeting, but the one before, that you were going to provide a list of the grants that our grant writer has gotten to town.
I mean, this list?
Yeah, could we have that, please?
Yeah, I'll make copies for everybody, I can go over it really quickly.
Yes.
So for the managing the projects, which is what she's now doing, managing all the different grants and applications, she has brought in $2,497,600 for that. For the grants that she's already received, but does not no longer has to work on, at this point, there's $9 million of grants there, and there's also some pending applications for different grants of $7 million, which includes the request for the State Bond Commission for $6 million for interim. But I can get you copies of this so you can see it.
Please. Could we have that before the public hearing?
Right at the meeting, I'll bring the copies.
Perfect, thank you.
All 1,650?
Yeah.
And that doesn't include the labor, because on the bottom it says $160 an hour for labor.
Oh,
That's a separate, yeah.
So that's this morning. There it is.
Okay.
How much is that?
Just materials. Sounds like it's $101.
That's material.
I can make copies of that too if you want. Yeah, just pass that back on.
I was just gonna write on it, pass it around.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna make copies.
Keep it for now, so we're here for public hearing.
You want it, he's gonna make
Yeah.
Tax collector, HVAC, no longer windows.
So what's going on, how come P&T is, I'm ignorant
I
of
don't know
this.
why the two different prices.
So, yeah, two different prices, and why do they both need these HVACs? What's the deal with your heating in their departments?
You can still be keeping those up.
Yes, as you noticed, we've had the HVACs done here. Each of the offices is on this first floor, has been done over, but theirs needs to be done. We've also done the corner, 3 office areas where you have registrar voters, HUD, and probate. So now the only 2 that are really, well, I shouldn't say 2, there should be 3. But for right now, the 2 that we really want to concentrate on are the planning and zoning office, which has an older unit and needs to be replaced, and also the tax office.
So now the one you're doing, you're gonna replace the planning and zoning, a heat pump in there. Left the heat pump, you're just replacing that, or you're putting a Mitsubishi together?
Mitsubishi.
Does that let us more than
Yeah.
And then the tax collector, she's got window air conditioning now, right?
Yep.
So that, those coming out, you put a Mitsubishi there also?
I'd like to.
I'd like to know like 2 different prices.
Bigger areas.
Yeah.
You're covering more square footage and longer.
Footage.
and different setup?
Different unit. Pretty close, but
What's the vault area?
the vault. I don't know, how's your vault circulate air?
Well, hers is different. isn't it?
I think he's referring to the tax collector.
I know, but I'm saying how's yours?
Mine's fine, but mine's a different unit, isn't it? I wasn't here when that was installed, but mine's
Yeah.
fine.
She's got a knuckle split in that vault.
Now, yeah. Well, we have to put one down below
There's
that.
not one of the tax collector.
Right.
So will that get one also?
Eventually, yeah.
What's it have now? Nothing?
I don't think it has anything.
Just ask.
Yeah. And the third area, as I said too, the third area eventually would be our maintenance office. Still need something to circulate it. Eventually.
Last thing, guys, come all over it.
No, not this year. We're not required for ADA because we're grandfathered, correct?
Yes, however, we have always had an issue with having support for people who have ADA appliances in this building. We just did the ramp over in front, and when that was being done over, it was painful to watch people walk from tax office all the way around, or be able to make it to the staircase over here, and then hobble upstairs. So the idea was, can we have an elevator in this building? Yes. You asked a question about where it might go. We had a company come out and give us an idea. So the office that we have over here, which is, there's a doorway right outside, as you go to the bottom of the staircase to the left, there's a doorway right there. Right now we're storing our election equipment in there. But he came and he measured it all out, took a look and said, absolutely, we can do that there. And it will end up down where the water cooler, I didn't say bubbler this time, a water cooler is in that area, and we can open up an area to go into the multi-purpose. So that's where it would be.
And is that 180,000 firm, or is that just a guesstimate?
For the unit that he gave us, it's less than that, but you also have to have a company contractor come in and cut out everything and set it up. It was a rough estimate, yeah.
And we're talking about ADA and handicap accessible. You know, I get different answers, but our parking places are not conducive to our entrances with handicap. Over here, you got your places way down there.
I don't know if that's really the budget.
Well,
Yeah, like it's,
like I said,
You're more than welcome to talk to our town engineer or our town planning and zoning, because they're the ones set it up.
I don't know if I like, honestly, I don't know if that idea is a smart one with the placement of that elevator, because you're still relying on that Yankee lift system to get into this room. You're not eliminating that lift system. If you're doing an elevator, it should also replace that at the same time.
I would beg to differ. How would you be able to put one unit to go 1.5 floors?
They make elevators go half floors.
Okay, well,
I'm saying you can make an
I think
elevator.
this is a perfectly good unit right here, and I think that the other one would be servicing both the basement area and this first floor.
I think, I disagree. I think it's, I think if you're gonna spend the money, you might as well do it to get to this area also.
Okay, so the problem would be, where would you go underneath? Because everything underneath is the pool area or the locker
It's a
room.
good question. That's the issue.
Well, the question I have is, how expensive do we pursue the steep grant? The towns are eligible like every 5 years for those, correct?
No, you can get those more than 5.
Okay, so when was the last one?
The one we did for we took down the old annex and put the plan in place to put up the pavilion. That was probably 2021.
And would that be something we might want to go out for again?
They're very rare now because the money's starting to dry up. I mean, look, she will have any grant you want, but the question is what's available. Sometimes certain things are not available. Like I'll give you an example of the...
What are her pending ones right now, Kevin?
You mean the ones that she's applied for?
Right, that she's applied for that are pending, what is she going for?
Animal control for $80,000, it's a CFEC grant, I'm not sure what exactly that's for. I think probably redoing of some of that building and storage for the animals. The next one up is $6 million for Inter-Oil for a state bond commission. Patrick Leahy has a police officer's vest for $32,000. USDA grant loan for WPCA for the School Street Extension Bridge for $650,000. Record keeping for the Connecticut State Library, $4,000. Title III for senior programming, $12,000. Falls Free Tree for senior staffing training. SIP grant for $250,000 for WPCA facilities plan.
Why is she doing so much for WPCA? How come they need?
Oh, they're way behind in getting upgrades. That was a sore area for many, many years when we finally started getting money. When when ARPA monies came up, if you remember, we allocated I think it's $3.4 million of that ARPA monies to the sewer because they were so far behind. We had generators from 1976. We had to replace them. We've been doing work on the sewer because it's in need.
So if our infrastructure is been so poorly managed and we're so far behind on all of this stuff, shouldn't we be addressing all of that and put up on it before we go entering into more $200,000 projects? If we can't get grant money available,
I'm not sure I understand the question.
we've invested $200 and something thousand into a park, but you're saying that our buildings are not up to ADA compliance, our heating systems are outdated, our water pollution control is outdated, everything's outdated and run down. So we have to start figuring out where are the priorities. Again, I'm gonna go back to the same thing, wants versus needs, wants versus needs. $180,000 for an elevator this year, is it a need? I don't know.
It's ADA compliances,
If there's
so
people
I
that
think
live
it's
here and feel that they aren't getting to have full access to the
Because
town
what
hall
also
or.
ties in is that we don't have a lot of room in the ECC building. And, you know, the rumor is, you know, it's the rec center or ECC or town hall, and we may play musical chairs or not. So if another facility comes in here, they might not want the elevator over there. They might want it.
I don't think the elevator is a good thing this year.
Right, I agree with that.
I'm not saying it's completely off the table in the future, but not this year.
Not this year.
But I guess it'll be up to the taxpayer, yeah.
So what do we want to do a public hearing?